Hello, listeners, and welcome to the Pod Fruit, One Piece Through New Eyes. On today's episode, we'll be discussing Volume 20, titled Showdown at Alubarna. Volume 20 covers chapters 177 through 186. I am the host, Michael, and with me, as always, we have our One Piece rookies, V and Dylan.
Hello, hello.
Bonjour.
Good one, Dylan.
Changing things up, I see.
Proud of you.
It usually sounds like, hey.
Sup?
Yeah.
Oh, that's about it, guys. See ya.
Quick reminder to join us on Twitter, Instagram, and Discord for all the latest announcements, information, and fun. On Twitter, we are at PodPodFruit. Instagram, it's PodPodFruit, and our Discord is linked in the description. We would also love if you gave us a follow and a review. Let us know what you like or what you don't. We love feedback. Anything we want to get out of the way before we get started?
This is kind of like our 1-year anniversary episode.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
We hit our 1-year anniversary on the 11th of October. Been doing this for 1 year. And for those of you who are still listening, thanks for sticking around.
Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate your feedback. We appreciate the interactions we've had with you guys. We are not making money out of this right now, but that's okay.
But we could be. No, I'm just kidding.
But no, this has been fantastic. And like on a personal level, without getting too much into it, I've just really loved getting to spend more time with these two fellows. So, yeah.
Two degenerates, but you're also a degenerate. So.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Wow.
All right. Well, let's begin. I have written my own summary here today. Luffy has chosen to stay behind and fight Crocodile to allow Vivi and friends an opportunity to escape to Alubarna. Luffy's attacks are futile as Crocodile handedly defeats the Straw Hat and leaves him buried in the sand to die. After Crocodile leaves, his partner, Miss All Sunday, appears and pulls Luffy from the sand. Royal Guardsman Pell arrives to battle All Sunday, but she suggests he save Luffy as she leaves for the capital. The Straw Hats and Vivi arrive in Alubarna thanks to a host of animal companions. The Straw Hats disguise themselves and split up to distract Baroque works, while Vivi runs to attempt to talk down the approaching rebel forces. Vivi's attempt is unnoticed as she is trampled by the attacking army. Mr. 2 locates Vivi, but she escapes with the help of Karoo and Sanji. The clash between Baroque Works and the Straw Hats begin as Usopp and Chopper find themselves fighting Mr. 4 and Miss Merry Christmas. And that is our summary of Volume 20. Volume 20, we will kick it off with V with 177.
Hell yeah, brothers. Intro image. I will just note as a general impression that I got as I was reading this volume. I like that we're taking a little bit of a step back from the intro image stories, and we're actually focusing on more like character depictions for most of this volume. And I've been enjoying them. Like in this case, somehow Usopp makes eating a piece of meat with a puppy dog look kind of badass. I don't know if it's maybe just the expression that he has on his face, but like
it's also the shadow from the brim.
Yeah, if I were to see that guy in the woods, I wouldn't fuck with him. I would want to pet his dog.
You know that, right?
You don't need to eat it raw. It's fucking raw. Anyway.
Gordon Ramsay comes out behind that single tree.
Sauce!
And then we start the volume off proper with that shot of Luffy having taken Vivi's place. And it's a great way to reintroduce where we're at in the story. He's being pulled into the confrontation with Crocodile instead of Vivi and telling the rest of the crew to go to get her to Alubarna. We're in it, boys. It's happening. Again, and this is an ongoing theme in this manga that I've noticed and that I've kept mentioning because I do appreciate it a lot, but I really like the display of the crew's faith in Luffy in the middle of page 3, where Nami points out that Luffy has gone up against tough enemies before, he's still there, and Zoro reiterating the plan of Luffy keeping Crocodile busy while they get away. Like, they know what Luffy's about, and they just deeply and innately trust him. And I feel like regardless of what you might think of Luffy as a character in general. This is a good mark of what makes a captain, is his crew's ability to trust him through thick and thin.
Without being coerced.
Right, exactly. Right.
Because we've seen, I don't think Krieg's people...
No, right. Whereas Luffy's crewmates do it because they are compelled to, not because they're forced to. He just... It seems like he draws that out of people, and it happens fairly naturally. I mean, there have been a few moments where he's been like, you're going to be part of my crew or else. But... But in reality, could they have left? Probably. Yeah. And yeah, I just, I appreciate that a lot. And then pages 4 and 5 go on to show that the crew is also very dedicated to Vivi. We've known that for a while now. Like, we've seen them get behind her and support her and whatever, but now it actually matters. Like, now is the culmination of every single time that they have supported her. Now is where it truly counts, and where we see this fully coming into effect. And we're at the final hour, and it's time, and they're showing up. This is what this whole arc has been leading to, and they're making it very clear that they're all in. Their friendship with Vivi is genuine, and they will be there for her. Also, visually interesting shots at pages 6 and 7 as Luffy lands in front of Crocodile and Miss All Sunday in the middle of the desert. It gave me a very ominous vibe for some reason. Like, first off, like the kind of the wide shot of seeing him in the desert, and then the shot of him right underneath at page 6 of him being all twisted and turned at Crocodile's feet, basically. There's nowhere for him to go. Like, he is in the middle of the desert. Like, well, and we do find out that he ends up somewhere else, but that's fine. But in this moment, there's nowhere for him to go.
He's here because he wants to be.
Right. And the close-up on Crocodile's face at the top of page 7, to me...
Always a treat.
It is a treat, but it drives that ominous thing even further. Like, this man is not to be fucked with, honestly. He is terrifying. But yeah, the like shaded in face with the scar and the cigar and just the eyes and everything, just his face. I've said this before and I'll say it again. His whole face just it commands, like, I don't know, like, I get why, how can I put this? Not to get like super sussy about it, but it commands submission. Like, I would have trouble standing up to a person like that in person, in real life, Also because he's super tall, but you know what I mean? Like, just even by the way that his face is drawn, he commands that. So, yeah.
Got a lot of harsh or hard, perhaps is a better word, features.
Yeah, absolutely. Luffy and Crocodile's conversation over pages 8 and 9 is interesting, about Vivi's values and what makes her a good person. But what got me really interested over this conversation was the bottom of page 9 when Miss All Sunday laughs. Because this man, Crocodile, does not like being laughed at. And I think, and we kind of lean into it throughout this whole chapter, and I think she knows that he does not like being laughed at, and she plays into it hard.
You think this laughter was very deliberate?
I think it was. I think it was meant to be subtly humiliating. She's not openly humiliating him. Like, she's not openly insulting him. But I feel like she knows that her laughter is an insult to him. And she's doing it on purpose. And, the next page kind of shows that there's a lot of strain in Crocodile and Miss All Sunday's relationship. First, he drops her real name, it seems, Nico Robin, despite having promised not to call her by that name. Although that seems like a power play on his end, he's not happy that she laughed. Also, like, I feel like that was his reply to having been humiliated, was to then use her real name.
Talk about childish.
Yeah, they're a little verbal sparring going on here.
Yeah. And she's also seemingly quite detached from him. Like, yeah. I feel like she's... And we were kind of talking about that last episode, and that to me, her relationship with Crocodile serves a purpose, and I feel like she's realizing that that purpose is coming to an end. And we can see that detachment kind of as it's happening, because she leaves him with Luffy with no hesitation. And then finally at the bottom of page 10, Crocodile says, "That woman's a mystery even to me," which tells me that he may not have that much insight on her allegiance or motivation. I think perhaps in this case, she has also served a purpose to him and he didn't bother to find out more.
Right.
Which may be his downfall, ? We will see. And then, after that, it's kind of followed by a classic fight sequence. Visually very striking, a lot of action lines, a lot of onomatopoeia. Again, I've said this before, but I love seeing Crocodile's shape disappear into clouds and wisps of sand. It's just so interesting to
Always
see.
Good.
It's so, so good. There are a few notable examples of that. If we're looking, for example, at the bottom of page 12, you see his face kind of disappear into a cloud of sand. And at the tops of page 15 and 16, also just the way that he's drawn in those moments with the wisps of sand and whatnot. Just, to me, it's a treat. Visually, I love that. At the bottom of page 19, I love the expression on Crocodile's face right there. You can tell that he absolutely hates the fact that he's been trying to taunt Luffy, only for him to interrupt him. Crocodile thinks that he is the shit. Meanwhile, Luffy couldn't give a single fuck about that man. He is so unbothered. And that in turn bothers Crocodile so much. And I kind of like Luffy's little fucking bratty attitude and just shoving it in Crocodile's face. It was a very typical Luffy moment, and I feel like he's proving a lot more to handle than Crocodile expected. And then I did have a quick note on the SBS. The last entry of the SBS, where Oda compares everyone to an animal, only to end with saying that Chopper is a reindeer. That kind of made me chuckle. I was like, really?
I was wondering why Sanji is a duck. That I could see maybe a stork or a swan or something.
I would
probably to do with the relevance of how
tasty.
duck is considered really high-end dining, if duck confit.
Duck is tasty as all heck. Yeah, it is a staple of fine dining.
I think that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Luffy is obviously a monkey. We all knew that. It is his name. Anyway, but that's what I had for 177. Dylan?
Yes, sirree. I really like all the Luffy going flying off. He's got his arms out and everything like that. Just the expression, if he had the pog face, it would have been perfect. Let's go! And I do like on page 8, kind of the point where Luffy's she tries to help others. Her strength is her heart. She's so compassionate. She doesn't want anyone to get hurt. She doesn't want anyone to die in this conflict. And Crocodile's wow, that's really naive, and it's really easy to take advantage of people who think that's a possibility, isn't it? And he's it is. Luffy agrees. He's yeah, she is naive.
Yeah.
He's but she's gonna kill herself.
You.
Yeah, but she's gonna kill herself until you're dealt with. So guess what, buddy? You're getting dealt with.
She's naive, but she's persistent, and she has a really good support system. So fuck you.
This chapter does a lot of really pointing out what I think Crocodile's major flaw is, which his flaw is that he has got an extremely sensitive ego.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to goad him, all you have to do is attack that ego, and that's probably I think that is his ego will be his downfall.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, Sunday laughing at him, which again
highlights that perfectly.
Yeah, it's kind of back to what me and you've been saying the whole time. It's she's gonna do something to betray him at some point, which we'll see. And then the fight is a good fight, and like you said, I like the because Crocodile and Smoker very similar their powers because I really like the bottom page 12 where he dodges the punch and then starts to dissipate.
Yeah, that's a great panel.
And so
kind of comparison too. I never would have, I never have put together that they're both kind of amorphous.
Exactly.
Well, it's the fact it's they can dissipate their being and then reform.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool concept. And we'll see how that gets brought in because similar to with Smoker and Ace fighting, where Ace is I have fire, so it's really easy for me to counteract you because the heat creates backblast, and that keeps you dissipated at all times. And we'll see something similar to that coming up. I really like the Gum Gum Gatling gun, and then the shot of him after, just like full of holes.
Yeah.
That's a really good shot. That's a lot of fun. And then Luffy going off with the bazooka followed up by the battle axe is great. And then I love the middle of page 18 where he's just stomping on the ground. It's like, yeah, how you like that, you stupid Sand?
Yeah. Just stomping on some dune.
And then he comes up and he's like, I told you you're wasting your time. And he's like, you creep. You're a freak. That to me was just like, I don't know, hilarious. And then he's sitting there. My favorite thing is which this page definitely really plays out to his ego. His ego is so fragile. He's sitting there trying to monologue at him. He's like, you'll never. And then he just punches him right in the mouth.
Yeah.
Like, what's that? You're trying to say something. And then you just, the onomatopoeia
he's like
of
seeing
snap.
red. Yeah.
Yeah. The snap is an onomatopoeia of like his arm coming back to him. To me, that's
like his brain.
Yeah, his inner ego just breaking, and he's losing control.
Like literally making him snap.
Yeah, because you can even see like there's some action lines where he's like shaking in rage.
Yeah.
And that was great. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
But that is all I got on that chapter.
Yeah. All right. So, I like the intro of them standing up for their guy, but I especially like Zoro during this. Like as soon as he's being ripped away, Zoro's smiling. He says, "Crazy kid."
Yeah.
Like, Zoro admires that about Luffy so much, and it's been brought up multiple times before. No one has more confidence in Luffy than Zoro does, I do believe. Sure, some others come close. I think Sanji feels pretty good about where Luffy is. Usopp's never really super confident about anything.
Ever,
of course,
including himself.
Is nervous. Nami seems good, too. Nami's up there with Zoro. I think maybe the longer you spend with Luffy, the more you...
well, you learn to trust him, because I feel like he gives you a good reason to trust him.
Yeah. At first, you're like, okay, I get this. And then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I get this.
Yeah.
So, some of the more recent additions, though, Usopp's not new. That's his character. So that explains that. And Zoro saying, you're the only hope. Like, in absence of Luffy, Zoro seems to kind of take a little bit charge of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just playing his part very well. I think Zoro is really shining at the beginning of this, but we get to some real nice confrontation between Crocodile and Luffy, and it only gets better from here. I did enjoy a lot of the banter that they were having. I enjoyed the fight scenes. I thought they were well done. I agree. I really like some of the shots where, the art shows that Luffy's attacks are really not affecting anything as he dissolves and reappears, but he's given it his all, and it all looks good. I wonder if I like part of me was struggling with some of the pacing. I would have liked to have seen some moments linger a little bit more. Again, we do get some really good moments in the next chapter, because this isn't it. It's just the opening.
Right.
Again, that's probably a nitpick, I guess. Sometimes you have to really slow yourself down in these quick, short panels to kind of understand exactly what you're seeing.
Yeah. And we know that this isn't the final Luffy versus Crocodile confrontation. Like, it's giving us a taste of what's to come, probably, but it's not the end-all be-all of that fight.
And I love a good square-up, as we see on the bottom of page 11, just like, round one, fight, kind of stuff. And yeah, it's good stuff. Let's see. Oh, and then I think the part I loved the most was when Zoro was monologuing and Luffy just said, shut the fuck up.
You mean Crocodile?
Not right now. No, when Crocodile's monologuing and Luffy hits him in the face.
Right, but you said Zoro.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, my mind's on Zoro right now.
It's okay. I can relate. He's always on my mind.
And then, yes, the final panel of this really just...
Eye roll.
Yeah. The final panel of this really drives the tension home, I think. But yeah, just to kind of summarize, this was excellent. Some of the best action, and clearly the stakes are as high as they've ever been. Great chapter. It's kind of one note. It's the Straw Hats leaving and then action, but it's a great note. That's not a critique. It's just a note I made. But
good C sharp.
Yeah. 178's Dylan.
Okay, then we get the opening intro image, which is nice. I like it. It's nice to see, because most of what we have to see of Vivi is her being very, very serious and dealing with very grave consequences. But here she's just being whimsical,
Whimsical is a great word, and I think actually it's a word that applies pretty well to One Piece in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the moments where you're not dealing with serious stuff, it is a lot of whimsy and childlike wonder.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that tone shift that they're able to do kind of seamlessly.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've said stuff like that before.
Gotta say, I like the combo of tank top and long skirt. It looks good.
It's cute, yeah.
And we got that ugly ass snake monster that got the shit punched out of it trying to woo her.
Did he get the shit punched out of him?
Yeah, it's the one Luffy Gum Gum Pistols on his way out.
Oh, maybe. Maybe
No,
it's his son.
It's the same type of sea creature.
Yeah.
But he's wearing a bow tie now.
Bow tie. He does look very regal, I'm not gonna lie. Even though, gotta say, I'm a tie guy, not a bow tie guy. Don't do bow ties.
Bow ties do feel a little...
They just seem dorky.
They work on some people. They don't work on everyone, but they work on some people.
Yeah, nerds. Got them.
That's rich.
Coming from this.
Anyways, on to our podcast about One Piece. And then we get the opening scene. I like the way the scene's done. Like you get the shot of the edge of town. It zooms in on the timer he put out there, which is now halfway done. And then Crocodile says, playtime's over. He's like, I wasn't playing. I was for real. Classic Luffy energy. And we get to see some of Crocodile's moves, which are interesting. Like the Desert Spada. Spada. I want to say Spada is like an ancient Greco-Roman weapon, I want to say. I'm not sure. Or maybe it might be Italian.
Spada, to me, relates to spade, relates to a shovel?
Or couldn't a spade also be like a pike kind of weapon? I don't know.
I'm curious enough. Give me a second.
Spada is the Italian word for sword. And a surname
okay.
of Italian origins. Thanks, Google.
I had a feeling it was some kind of ancient weapon. And then we get to see the after effect of where it's like he's kind of like split the dunes like several feet deep. And it's like he's created a crevasse, and it's just like, damn, that's crazy. And then Desert Gear Soul, which I'm under the impression that at this point I'm just gonna guess all of his attacks are Italian.
So I'm just guessing...
It's gonna be like Desert Gabagool!
Because Jira is to move, like gyrate.
I guess Gear Soul and my soul might be like
so
orb.
moving
Okay.
the ground.
Okay, yeah. And then as you can see...
I've been learning Italian on Duolingo for 2 years now.
Oh, nice. I might fuck with some Duolingo.
Do it. It's fun.
About it. And then as you can see...
Learn French.
If I'm going to do it, I'm going to try and learn Japanese.
Okay. I tried.
And on the very, very, very unlikely chance that I ever go to Japan. Anyways, okay, big old hole in ground. And then, I guess, because looking at it, it's such a large hole, it's loose sand. Also, there's already, like, a very deep cut in the sand. The thing the sand's going to want, it's like displacing water. After the water's been displaced, it wants to go back. So he's essentially, and as you can see, it's not quicksand, but essentially a quicksand pit. Because the sand's just trying to go back, and he's stuck at the bottom. And also, quicksand's one of those funny things where it's like, as a kid, you're told it's so fucking dangerous. It's like, it's so dangerous. You will die, die.
I wrote the exact same.
I've literally never witnessed quicksand in my entire life. I don't know if we talked about it maybe last episode, but this has been brought up before.
Yeah. But like 9 times out of 10, it's just hold still for like a couple minutes and you'll touch the bottom.
Yeah.
Because the pits usually are not that deep. There's a lot of things they lie to us about as children.
Bermuda Triangle, did we talk about that yet?
Oh, God, yeah. Everyone's like, oh, it's so dangerous, it's so dangerous. Like, you do know, like, the cruising industry pretty much exclusively goes to the Bermuda Triangle, like, all the fucking time.
Another lie, if you have a full-time job, you'll easily be able to afford a nice house by yourself. That's another lie.
In their defense, that was back in, like, the 90s, where it's like, oh, you might actually be able to. And then, like, 2000 hit, they're like, nah, it ain't happening, dog. You'll be lucky if you can get a nice job and afford rent for a month.
Tell me you're a bitter millennial without telling me you're a bitter millennial. It's fine. I'll be fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Hey, at least your healthcare's free.
Good point.
Anyways, then we get to see V's favorite move, the Gum Gum Finger Net.
Oh,
yeah. I have a note on that. I don't like it.
Well, just remember, I think in the Discord we were having a discussion about it. Like, oh, just like use it to troll and fish with. And someone was like, well, he can't do it when he's in water. It's like, no, the powers still work in water. Because I think we brought up the point. It's like when he was in Arlong Park, they were able to stretch his head out so they keep his head above water. But then it's kind of cool because it's not just like, then you get to see top of 9. It's not so much that he dissipates the sand so he can get out of it. But he can also like, I don't know a better way, like grip with the sand. Like you can actually catch hold of something and throw it.
He's got that grippy.
We're going a direction and I don't like it.
I'm sorry, I've had an edible and I'm drinking Woodford Reserve.
There you go. And then the Gum Gum whip cuts him right in half. Again, the cut in half from the whip is fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was good. That was
and
a good
then him
shot.
talking to same old out of half of his mouth is like, all right, that's pretty hard. That's pretty hard fucking core, dude.
Like it's a little tiny side panel, but it's a really good tiny side panel.
Especially with what comes before it.
Yeah.
Like, it's all set up so well.
Oh, yeah.
And then we get the Crescent Cutlass. When I first saw the Crescent Cutlass, I was like, oh shit, is Luffy going to lose his arm? Because the way it's drawn, it looks like it. But then you get the cut back, and then it's all... I love the look on his face when it reveals what happened to his arm.
The mummy arm, yeah.
Yeah, when it's all straight. It's, oh my fucking god! Which, to be fair,
I would also
I'd probably
freak out.
react the same way.
Yeah.
Little skinny boy arms.
And honestly, I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm kind of surprised Luffy understands the concept of mummification.
That's...
Like, he's like, oh, it's mummified. My arm's mummified.
I remember learning way too much about ancient Egypt and mummies and stuff in school. Like, it's never really applied.
I was obsessed with
you know how you use
Egypt.
that little fork to get crab meat out of the crab claw? Yeah, they use that in the brain.
Yeah.
Scoop the brain out the head.
Why did we learn so much about that? Anyway.
And then I love after that, like, Luffy remembers the water. Luffy drinking the water and, so fucking Popeye the Sailor Man coded.
Oh, yeah.
Because as soon as you drink it in the back of my head, I was like,
I thought the same thing.
And I kind of like it because Luffy brings back, it's like, yeah, he dug and he finally found it. It's like, you can't defeat that kind of spirit. Those kind of people will never break. Their will is indomitable. Which he doesn't say, but that's kind of the point he's getting at to me. Him going through this and being, doing all this kind of bites old man in the ass a little bit. But I love the bottom of 12 when he's running up, the way he's drawn with his mouth like super big. You will lose to this hand. Just the way that's drawn is fun to me. And then I guess he paid a little bit of attention fighting against Wapple.
Yeah.
Motherfucker pulled out the Gum Gum Munch.
That munch fruit was terrifying, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
I never want to see it again. We might, because this is One Piece, but...
But it's interesting, because I see the way it's done, I see this, and it seems like a stupid idea, but to me, it's like, that might be a strategy that could work. Because it's the first time like he's done something, and it's actually kept him contained. So it's like, oh, you might be on something. He breaks out of his mouth, of course, but, and then the bottom of the page, Die Along with Yuba. Great panel.
I want to hate Crocodile so much, but once in a while he comes out with these fucking one-liners that are so good, that are so tasty and perfect. I still hate him.
He's so well drawn.
He's despicable.
He's the whole package.
But
so tasty and so good.
He's a good villain. Michael, back me up. Back me up, Michael.
One of my favorite One Piece characters.
He's great.
He's top 5 for me.
And then top of 14, it's with Sables, but with all the Italian background, it might be Sables.
So in French, I can tell you that sable, S-A-B-L-E, is literally sand. Sable.
There's probably some connection there between French and Italian.
It's all Latin root languages, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a little weird, kind of interesting look. Bottom of 14, leftmost panel. This sand is just right. Goldilocks ass.
Like the porridge.
But that's interesting to me. Like, I don't really have much more to add to it, but it's like seeing that, it's kind of like, okay. It's making me think a little bit. About what? Couldn't tell you. But it is making me think.
Yeah. The gears are turning. Nothing happening.
Right, like, why would he say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
And then you do get a nice shot of, like, people at Rain Base seeing the sand start building up. They're like, oh my god. And it seems like they're all like, oh my god, it's headed for Rain Base. I don't like how Vivi was like, it's him, I know it. It's like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
The guy with sand power made a sand cyclone. Whoa. Yeah, exactly. Fucking tool time and shit. And then, oh man, and it's kind of wrapping up. Luffy takes a fucking devastating blow, and then like the final page, just the middle panel, that shot.
Great.
Fucking goes hard as shit.
Yeah.
You're a 2-bit greenhorn. Straw Hat Luffy upstarts like you are a dime a dozen in the Grand Line. And then just the cutout of his hat and his cloak on the ground is just like, damn, Luffy got.
It's one of my favorite.
And that's what I mean with the one-liners that just hit like that.
Well, I also like at the top he's saying, "Who do you think you're ordering around?"
And that speaks again to his ego. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, like, before that page 18, when you see Luffy's face after he's taken the blow, like, oh, holy shit, someone's got me.
Yeah.
Because before, he's been hitting shit, but it's always been like, oh, it doesn't do anything. And this seems like the first time is like, oh my, like, no, I've been hit for real. Like, fuck. My actions have consequences, and I'm not ready for it.
If anyone isn't ready for the consequences of their actions, it's Luffy.
He doesn't think that far ahead.
He doesn't think, period. He relies solely on instinct.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Just giving you a second to cook in case you have something else.
No,
I'm good.
I'm good.
Oh, wait, the art center. Or the art corner or whatever.
I mean, yeah, there was that, but there weren't any, like, really good ones.
Yeah.
The one Sanji one was okay, but it, like, didn't have the age by it.
Alrighty, I think I'm good. I think I'm good to start.
But anyways.
Yeah. So, as Dylan pointed out, I liked the cute intro image of Vivi walking on the banister and a dapper eel, I guess, wearing a bow tie and offering her a rose. That was kind of cute and refreshing to kind of, like Dylan pointed out, to see her outside of her usual, concerned and strategic and princessly
Anxious.
duties. Yeah. Anxious. I thought that was cute. And yeah, so the beginning of the chapter is essentially the continuation of the fight. I don't have much to say in terms of details, but we do find out that Crocodile spends some time honing in on his devil fruit skills and that it's been paying off, which I think is kind of an interesting concept, to be given powers, but then to have to work on them in order to develop them and keep them sharp. Like, I don't know. I thought that was an interesting thing to bring into this whole mix. It's not like you eat the devil fruit and then you suddenly have perfect control over your powers. No, you can actually work on them and develop them. I thought that was interesting.
I don't know that we've seen much of that.
No,
Yeah.
right. I think that's the first time it's really come up. And yeah, so that shot of him mid page 5 is great, with the tendrils of sand coming out of his fingers. I every like little sand, like crocodile / becoming sand shot, I'm always super interested in. And yeah, quicksand. Dylan pointed it out. We've talked about it before. As a child, I was convinced this was going to be a worse problem IRL than it actually is. But I did really like the wide shot of the quicksand in the upper half of page 6. It really, to me, it encapsulates how big it is. Like, if you look at how big the hole is, and the tiny little shadows, like it's a really big area if you really pay attention to it.
Oh, yeah.
Page 8, my only note was, not the finger net again. I hate it. Please, no. I don't want it. And it's
don't
probably...
you think that'd be kind of nice, just getting gripped by that and just held immovable?
Sounds comforting.
Sounds...
Hold me in your finger net.
Sounds like a...
Choke me. What?
Sounds like a fucking nightmare. I don't want these things anywhere near me.
All right. What if Zolo?
I mean, I'm kinky, but I'm not a freak, okay?
Extend out, please.
Yeah, so I don't know what's worse, the finger net or the shot of Luffy's mummified arm at the top of page 11. Like,
I'm a strong hand.
That's straight up gnarly, honestly. But still an interesting visual to have included. I thought that was pretty cool. The bottom of page 11 and all of page 12 gives us a really good Luffy moment, with him having a kind of a moment of illumination where he just leaves the battle and then he just comes back with water to get his arm back to, get hella swole, basically. Dylan said it right when he pointed out the Popeye thing. It's as if he had popped a can of spinach and he was freaking ready to go. I used to watch those cartoons when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Middle of page 14, it shows us the beginning of a sandstorm controlled by Crocodile, of course. And we find out that it's going south, missing Rain Base, and heading towards Yuba.
What?
Oh, Sandstorm.
I was like, are you still doing the Popeye thing? That doesn't sound right.
No. He switched to Darude Sandstorm. Anyway, moving
Damn,
on.
I'm good.
Yeah, you are. I'm proud of you. Oh no, now I have it stuck in my head. What was I saying? Where am I? My note. Okay, there I am.
So Sandstorm started.
Yes, Sandstorm started. Imagine we watch the anime and that starts playing. That would be so
That would be
good.
fun. That'd actually be pretty fucking hype. I think I'd be about it.
I know it probably doesn't happen, but I'm gonna live with that illusion in my mind until I get around to watching it. I do want to point out, to me, the entirety of page 16 was really nice in terms of the layout and in terms of the way it's drawn. The faces of Vivi and then the rest of the crew are like full of dread and emotion. The shot of Crocodile's coat blowing in the sandy wind as he explains to Luffy that the storm is headed south. Like, just some really good imagery there. I think it was a really well crafted page. And yeah, I mean, Dylan talked about it, but the last 2 pages of the chapter are a treat for several reasons, and let me get into it, because this is the nature of the podcast. Luffy is clearly so angry at Crocodile. He confronts him at every juncture and just spewing his hatred at him, only for it to be met by his hook. The different panels do a really good job at conveying the intensity of the moment and pacing the story. And that's something I've said numerous times at this point about the way that Oda crafts the layout of the pages. But this is a prime example of that. It's like I can hear it going from loud and chaotic as Luffy is shouting at Crocodile, only for the quiet heaviness to set in with what Crocodile does next. Mid-page 18, mid-page 18, we get a ghostly pale close-up of Luffy's face, followed by a wide shot of the both of them, with the sandstorm in the back and the shunk onomatopoeia as presumably Luffy's body slumps deeper onto the hook. We then get a close-up of the bloody hook with the droplets of blood just dripping from it. So good. And then page 19 is mind-blowing. We get the close-up of Crocodile's gaze as he says, "Who do you think you're ordering around?" It's like I can almost hear him growling or hissing those words. And that's followed by this amazing panel of Luffy's shape being held up in the air above Crocodile by the force of the hook. I really appreciated the visual choice of having it drawn like against the light. It adds some mystery, like we don't quite know what's going on because we're not seeing any detail, but it's also just an epic scene, especially as we then see Luffy's hat laying on the sand. As the words linger on the page, Straw Hat Luffy, upstarts like you are a dime a dozen in the Grand Line. Fucking cold, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking
really nice.
Cold.
Also really nice timing, because like ever since we've hit the Grand Line, we've run into like Devil Fruit powers kind of like left and fucking right. I like that kind of the idea of it's like, oh yeah, like for whatever reason, when you eat a devil fruit, people think they can make it here. It's like, no, that's a base level shit.
Yeah,
that's
a
base.
good way to look at it. I like
that's
that.
Base level shit out here, and you ain't equipped.
Yeah.
And yeah, so at this point, we're lining ourselves up for like a plot twist. We're on the 20th volume of over 100. Luffy isn't dying anytime soon. But I kind of
plot twist: Luffy's no longer in One Piece.
Can you imagine? That's it. But I don't think, or at least I don't have the impression that he's going to make it out completely unscathed. Somehow, I think that's going to leave a mark. But
gnarly boo boo.
Yeah, but he's going to survive. I'm pretty sure he's going to survive. But I still have a feeling that won't leave him completely okay. I don't think he's going to bounce back like this from this one. But yeah, really, really solid chapter. Quite liked it. Yeah, like I said, the last 2 pages, all of the chef's kisses. And that's what I have for 178.
Who's the chef? And why do you keep kissing him?
All right. So, yeah, I don't know that I have a ton novel. Quicksand, yes. The Popeye stuff, love it. Luffy's mummy arm and the finger net, ooh, number 1 and ooh, number 2.
Right?
Ooh, brother, what's that?
Really, which is worse? The finger net or the mummified arm?
Imagine the
Probably
finger.
net.
Imagine the finger net with mummified fingers.
No, please. Oh, please. No.
That'd look like an actual net. All ropey and shit.
Ooh.
I thought him going into him eating crocodile and not crocodiles going at, like shooting out of his mouth was wild. It was so weird in such a good way.
Yeah. Also, like super risky. It's like, yeah, he's inside your body now. Like,
big old cojones to eat your enemy like that, and the fact that he bursts out is I think to be expected. But and then I'll just fast forward to the very end. You know, this is among the best 2 pages that we've seen. It rivals most, if not all, of the 2-page spreads that we've seen and loved.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I mean,
and that's kind of surprising for, like, you know, especially the mid page 19 panel. Like, I don't know. It has as much impact as one of those epic 2-page spreads.
Yeah. And it's almost like an afterthought. And I feel like that's deliberate. I kind of get it. Like, Crocodile's not thinking nothing of this. He's got it. One more obstacle out of his way. He's ready to go to Alubarna.
So yeah, you guys see this panel? That's usually how I kill people.
And yeah, I mean, I'm actually going to go over some of the same points that you guys did just because these 2 pages are so special. At the top, when Luffy is shouting in his face, you can just see just pure disgust in Crocodile's face. Like, it really makes who do you think you're ordering around kind of land a little bit more. Like, Crocodile is truly and like noticeably offended by what this guy's doing. Yeah, he does not like this. And then Luffy's face, amazing. In that little, just tiny corner panel, you're only getting a sliver of what he's feeling.
The whole whiteout,
yeah. Yeah, and then you see it. You see the hook. You see the blood. And then Crocodile's face, close up, once again, as always, hits the dialogue, who do you think you're ordering around? Amazing. And then, of course, the middle of page 19. We've said it 100 million times. Well, maybe 5 or 6, but we love it.
Yeah, we've said it a lot.
I love the blood dripping down, especially.
Oh, so good.
The little specks of blood, also part of the silhouette. Not that they would look any different if they were on any other panel, but it just adds to.
The clip, clip, clip,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another insanely good chapter. No in-depth analysis. How could I? I mean, this was Luffy fighting Crocodile. Amazing art, exciting fighting. That kind of rhymes. I like that.
Exciting
fighting? Yeah, that's what I had for 178. 179 is V.
It is me. I'm very happy at this intro image. Karoo made a bird friend. And
Karoo out here fucking riding Wahir.
Huh?
What?
Wahir. You know, the great eagle that saved Gandalf from Isengard?
Oh right. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, it's Gwahir, Lord of the Eagles. No, Gwahir is just the one that saved Gandalf. Lord of the Eagles is just Lord of the Eagles.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Lord of the Eagles, that'd be my fat ass.
What?
That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Really doesn't.
But I'm just happy
seeing... he's in an Eagles jersey.
I'm just happy seeing Karoo make friends. He's such a cute little guy, and he deserves to be friends with other cute little guys.
I'm trying to call that eagle cute.
I think it's cute. Anyway.
Devilishly handsome, maybe.
Who's that? Karoo?
No, the eagle.
Oh. I mean...
the regal eagle.
The regal eagle. He's, it's a bird. But Karoo's cute.
He's like, I see lots of those.
Yeah.
It's like a family.
My family?
Yeah, it's like a family reunion out here.
That's Cousin Joey.
Huh?
That's Cousin Joey. Because they're related.
Oh, I thought you said it's cuz of Joey.
No, Cousin Joey. Shout out to Joey.
What does Joey do? Love and miss him.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Joey joins podcast. Like,
yeah, Joey's great. But you know who you are. Anyway, I low-key was a little pissed that we did not get the resolution of the previous chapter quite yet, but I was not mad at having a close-up of Zoro's face. to start to start off this chapter. And I was like, but also I'm fine with this. It's giving me a little bit of like emotional whiplash. We're going from a super intense scene to another kind of slice of life moment. As the rest of the crew are riding on the crab through the desert, Zoro's doing some strength training. Usopp is spinning tails to Chopper, who is obviously too new to the crew to know any better. But yeah, it was kind of like, oh, where are we again? Like it was a little shocking, like not shocking as in upsetting, but shocking as in I didn't expect this. Okay, I have to say something. First of all, Sanji's comment on Zoro at the top of page 3 came out of the blue,
uncalled
and
for.
was totally unjustified, in my opinion. It comes across as just spiteful, or rather even like he's projecting. Like he's scared about the situation. He's scared of the situation, but instead of admitting to it, he's putting that on Zoro, who has consistently, okay, I'm gonna die on this hill. Zoro has consistently tried to improve himself since his defeat against Mihawk. It just, to me, that was a fuck you.
And Sanji took 3 arcs off.
Right.
Effective.
Like, first of all, Sanji, who the fuck are you? Okay. I don't know.
I definitely get that. Where he's like super
like
nervous, so he's lashing out.
Right, but like...
being productive.
I didn't like that, and it's not just because Zoro's my hubby, but like that came out of left field, and even for Sanji, it felt mean. Like it wasn't just like, oh, we're a little bit rivalrous and we're trying to get the biggest animal back on the ship to feed the crew. It's like, it was mean, and I didn't like that.
I think when I first looked at it, I kind of took it as like he's trying to get Zolo riled up. The way I was looking, it's
I don't think
like
so.
I think that, like I took at first, like hearing your argument, it's kind of like, okay, probably not. I think he's just nervous.
I didn't feel that
I think he was just being a dick, honestly.
I don't think he's being a dick purely for the sake of being a dick, but I think it's like he's super fucking nervous and afraid, so he's lashing out, which is not appropriate. But
no, maybe go to therapy. Maybe that's what they need on the merry.
Turns out the One Piece was just therapy.
Now, let me pop in here. So,
okay, Michael.
Nami's like, "Hey, Zoro, stop!" and he literally yells at her to shut up. I could also see Sanji being bothered by that.
Okay,
maybe.
Which would explain why I could. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Maybe. I'm just trying to... Again, I might be grasping at straws here, but I could see Sanji being offended by him lashing out at Nami. I could.
I mean, he might. That being said, this isn't the first time that Nami and Zoro have spoken to each other like that. And I still feel like it, even if it was the reason why, it feels like an overreaction.
Sure.
Which
I would agree with that.
Which might be, like we were saying, provoked by stress or anxiety that Sanji doesn't really want to admit to himself. But I didn't like it. I didn't.
I'll admit, Nami and Zolo definitely have like sibling energy.
Oh, 100%.
So
100%. I did love Vivi for stepping in and refocusing the group at the top of page 4. I know this feels a little bit hopeless, but she's hanging on to whatever hope there is. And that's kind of admirable. I think that's a quality we've seen in her before and that we will probably continue to see. But yeah, I like that she knows that it's not over yet and that there are still things to be done and that she's saying, okay, let's focus on what we can do. The transition over pages 5 and 6 to me was great storytelling. It shows us what's at stake as we briefly see what's happening in Yuba with Toto finding a well of water, his own hope being restored, and he says, "Didn't I tell you, Luffy, this is a strong land?" Followed by a close-up of his smiling face as he said Yuba is still alive, and then suddenly the panels whip back to Crocodile and Luffy, and Crocodile states Yuba will die. Like, just in terms of storytelling, Oda nails it. So,
and like panel design and placement, that's just like bang bang.
That's what I like, is that it's purposeful. He didn't do it like that just because that's the way that the drawings landed. He's actually conveying the story through the layout of the panels, and I think that's just fantastic. But yeah, really, really liked this. I'm not entirely sure what's going on at pages, I want to say 7 and 8, but I'm guessing Luffy is being kept alive and not being mummified because of the water that was held in the barrel, which Crocodile pierced when he stabbed Luffy with his hook? Is that what's happening? I'm not sure.
That could possibly be it. I looked at it more as like, Crocodile was like, no, I don't want to mummify you because that's going to be quick. I would rather you have this gaping chest wound and slowly bleed out in pain. Is the way I took it.
Yeah.
But the water thing does make sense, though.
Yeah, and because I was also thinking, it's water versus sand, but it's also water versus devil fruit. Like, does that maybe affect the effectiveness of Crocodile's attack? Unsure. Just kind of throwing things at that, because because I wasn't understanding exactly what was going on, I went into like speculation mode, and those are the speculations I've come up with. But overall, an interesting kind of way to develop on the events that occurred in the previous chapter. I like the sequence of events with Chopper and Tashigi over pages 10 and 11.
Smoker?
A smoker. Why did I say Chopper? Maybe because maybe because he rides a motorcycle. But yes, between Smoker and Tashigi over pages 10 and 11.
I like that a lot too.
Yeah, you can tell that she's uncomfortable being left to make a decision, but she still steps up for her superior. Also, that side shot of Smoker's face at the top of page 11 as he's putting his goggles on. I like that. Again, in my notes, it's funny because I wrote Chopper. But no, Smoker. We get a fair amount of chaos over the next few pages, but on page 15, we get insight on Cobra's introspection. And he thinks to himself, Chaka, Koza, you must not fight. You are also this country. You must not destroy each other. And I thought that was... I appreciated seeing kind of the dichotomy between the chaos that's going on and then the king's moment of introspection and what he wishes and what he wants, or how he wants this thing to kind of unfold. I thought that was interesting. And it's then followed by a series of really great panels that are showing where the different factions are at, where they're converging and what's at stake in essence. And after that, we see the map. And then we go to the quiet desert near Rain Base, but the silence doesn't last. As we see someone, I'm assuming Luffy, screaming, "Meat!" And that's the end of the chapter. Yeah, that's what I had for 179. Dylan?
Yes, sirree. All right.
It's missed to you.
Anyways.
Misery.
Wow.
Like you said, good slice of life stuff. Of course, Zolo. I don't know, like, if like
slice of life is a strong word for this.
Oh, like kind of like crew interaction, I guess. Like,
yeah, they aren't just living it up.
A forced interaction. Let's say. I was gonna say, if you didn't get the rest of the panel, it was just a 1-page shot of Zolo's face when he's like doing the. Like, I would think he was in a fight. Because that one panel is just like, oh, he's fighting somebody. Oh, shit. And it's like, oh, no, he's just curling a camel.
He's just curling a camel, casual shit.
I think it's really fun seeing how, like, naive Chopper is, and just, like, Usopp just absolutely gaslighting the fuck out of him. It's like, yeah, I called crabs bow-legged. That's why they walk sideways, because they're self-conscious. And guess what? One jump backwards, that's a shrimp. That's like, oh, God. But it's funny, like, at the same time, it's like, oh, you're so full of shit. But it's funny because, like, old school, like, sailing stories were done that way. Yeah. That's how old salts and sailors would talk about it. Like, manatees are mermaids, beautiful, mystical, gentle creatures. And it's like, no, it's just a fucking manatee. But cool, that's a cool tie-in to, like, the whole, like, mysticism of, like, sail.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. And then as everyone's arguing, and again, V made a good point that he's just kind of lashing out because he's nervous and scared too, him being Sanji. So he decides instead of, like, focusing on himself to be critiquing everyone, kind of being a dick. That's funny. I love when the hilarious part is when Nami comes in, knocks them both cold. The fact that the lump on the back of Sanji's head is a heart is hilarious. At the bottom of page 3. I was like, of course. Yeah, it is. You see it?
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's like, of course it is. And then Usopp's have his little inner dialogue. It's like, I'm the second in command. I got to do something. It's like, shut the fuck up.
You don't have to do anything. Yeah.
If anything, we prefer if you just, like, shut up. Like, honestly.
All don't want to hear any more of your fucking stories.
And then Vivi, of course, having that one guy in the group energy. I was like, come on, guys, don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. It's like, oh,
that's you, Dylan. That's your energy.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
Oh,
that is
Dylan?
100% Dylan. That is big Dylan energy right there. Come on, guys.
We just got to work together. We're going to be fine.
I see where he's coming from.
oh, Michael.
It's not a criticism.
No,
it's needed.
No.
It's important.
Yeah, it is. We love you.
And then Zolo, of course, has the comment of, oh, it's all over the day. You stick up for me. It's like, Zolo, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, Zolo's snapping back a little bit, but Sanji drew first blood.
He did.
Yeah, if everything, just punch Sanji. And I also like Sanji's like, sorry about that, Vivi. It's like, how about you apologize to the person you insulted?
Right?
Of course, if he were to, Sanji definitely would say some shit that's like, oh, I'm sorry that offended you.
Yeah.
That'd be exactly
I'm
what
sorry
that
you
would say.
misinterpreted my words and can't take a fucking jab.
Asshole.
You're still a bitch anyways. And I love, like, just the cut in Yuba and that whole page of 5 is awesome. Just like, you see it looks disheveled as shit. You finally see Toto. He's like, oh my god, water. Yes. And then you also get the panel of, like, the sandstorm barreling towards Yuba. And just the depth of, like, how much he's just, like, again, like, indomitable will. No matter what you do, unless you kill this person, they will not stop. He's dug, like, based on the perspective, like, probably, like, 10, 15 feet down. Judging on the scenery in the background, all the buildings and everything, it looks like he's gone significantly deep.
Now, can sand plug a wound? Like, I don't know if that would
I believe it can. Like, not so much like mud, but the sand will eventually get wet and stick together.
Right.
So it could, in a way, like, it could be, I think it could be, not very effectively, but it could stem some bleeding, I believe so.
Probably a little bit more sanitary than mud, right?
I want to say no, but then again...
Dry and hot.
A desert area, yeah, the sand probably gets upper hundreds of degrees.
Yeah.
And if it gets like, well, that's more meat and everything. So if it gets like 150, 160 degrees, most any bacteria in it is going to die.
So this is maybe a little side tangent, but I've been trying to get better at cooking chicken. And I used to make sure that it was at 165 before I pulled it. But it's about time. If it at 165, it's all dead. At 155, as long as it maintains that
like
temperature for...
You're good.
No, like seconds.
Yeah.
And then at like 145, if you can keep it at that temperature, like that's how sous vide.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sous vide
is how it works.
It's just the water at that temperature. You just let it sit in for a couple hours.
Yeah. Yep. You keep it there. The whole thing hits that exact temperature. It doesn't get any hotter. It doesn't get
so
any
moist.
cooler.
Any meat made in sous vide, so moist.
I would love a sous vide, but they're kind of expensive. But yeah, that's what I had to say.
Yeah, always pull out your meat in time.
And that was Michael's cooking corner.
And then, like I do, again, cutting back to Crocodile, I like the way this is playing out, because now he's covered in water, and then Luffy is able to actually grab him, which you can see Crocodile is surprised by it. And then I guess Luffy's like, the way I'm taking this, Luffy's like kind of like trying to vice grip him really hard. And that's the first time you ever see Crocodile experience pain. Because he has a super physical reaction to it at the bottom of 7.
He sure does, yeah.
And then the onomatopoeia of makes me think that it's like Luffy is just gripping as hard as he fucking can. A little hypothesis, a fun way to defeat Crocodile is use the dance powder, make it rain while you're fighting him, beat him till every living shit, and kill him that way.
Ooh, that is a good point.
Maybe. And then just seeing Luffy just like, on the next page of the age, just like all the shots of him are like on death's door is the way it's shown. It's done extremely like the top right panel on that page where he's just like
heavy details,
his eyes whited out, covered in blood. And of course, Crocodile walking away. What a waste of time. And then I do like the fact that I feel like Smoker's the kind of loose cannon, and I feel like he's trying to mentor Tashigi to be like, it's like, no, you need to understand, like, you need to define your own version of justice and what's good, what's wrong.
Yeah.
And you need to stick to that. It doesn't matter what you're ordered to do. You need to decide what's right to you, and you need to stick by that.
Yeah, because she's very much she's very much a follower. She still has good integrity and good values from what I've seen so far, but she's very much a follower.
Yeah, because it seems
she's learning.
Yeah, because she does come off like super innocent, and I think Smoker's seeing that, and he's like, "No, I want you to learn for yourself, because I don't want maybe you go into someone else's command, they're like, hey, you need to kill all these villagers. I want you to be able to stand up and be like, that's wrong, I will not do it.
I love their relationship. The more I see of them,
Yeah, I like it
the
too.
more I see of Tashigi and Smoker, I mean,
I like them as
be
characters
nicer.
also, but
Yeah.
they do have a good relationship.
I do really like Smoker. Smoker so far is my favorite Navy guy, for sure.
he's the only one we've seen with any integrity.
True.
That's
yeah,
fair.
exactly. Which is nice. Which it's fun. It's fun for the world building. 'Cause
refreshing.
everything we've seen is like, oh, the Navy's actually really corrupt. But it's like, oh no, this one guy who doesn't follow the orders is the only guy doing good. And then Tashigi getting asked, what are your orders? And she sits there and thinks for a minute. It's like, all right, we're going to go after the Straw Hats. Which I'm taking is she really thought about it. It's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to assist the rebel army? Or do you want to go after the Straw Hats? And I think she picked the Straw Hats because she's like, I don't want to. No, I think I might have said rebel army, but Royal Army. She's like, I don't want to assist the Royal Army because the Royal Army is in conflict with its own citizens. I'd rather go after somebody that I know are convicted criminals.
Right.
So I like
that.
I like
can
seeing
get behind that.
Yeah, I like seeing that a lot. So that was a good little character building moment.
But on the other hand, I think it does show that maybe is the easy path.
Yeah, it does.
perhaps.
It's kind of like, okay, you're choosing the lesser of, like, you're at the point where it's like, all right, I don't have to choose the lesser of evils. I'm just going to choose the one thing that's associated as bad, even though these are the good guys. But
which isn't wrong. It's not wrong,
No.
especially for someone in position.
yeah, but I like the fact that it's like she's asked for orders and they give her a panel of her actually taking time to think about what they're going to do. I think is very, very important. Because a lot of the other people I've seen in the Navy would be like, what are we going to do? Fucking kill them all. It's like, it'd be an instant decision of, and not really think of the consequences where she takes that time. And then I like Koza's little dialogue on 12. Because it's like, just you wait, Cobra. We will deliver Alabasta. We won't let you destroy it. But he doesn't mention anything about, like, defeating Cobra or killing Cobra or anything like that. He's like, if rebellions, most of the time, it's like when they get their hands on the leader that they're rebelling against, they're after blood. Where he's like, no, I just want the kingdom to be saved. So I like seeing that. I think that's another important character beat.
I think if he got his hands on the dance powder,
He would use
that
it,
would be enough for him.
And then we get to see the Royal Armor preparing their mounting cannons. You have the two baddies overlooking the scene of everybody evacuating. And they as we can see, Cobra's all tied up. They monologue a little bit. And then you have the inner dialogue of, and I love the way it's displayed in 15, on page 15, in the middle panel. Where they're still yapping at each other, but like Cobra's paying no mind to it. And they display that by just lines.
Works. Okay.
Yeah.
Where they display that with just the lines of text. Like, there's no text, but it's just lines insinuating they are talking, but he's not paying attention. And it's also like a way for Oda to be like, yeah, they're having a conversation, but it's not important. This is the inner dialogue is what's important. And then Chaka Koza, you must not fight. You are also this country. You must not destroy each other. And then just like the last 3 pages where it's like the side-by-side shots. Those who lament war, those who fight, those who incite, those knowing the truth want to stop it. Yeah. And I kind of like that, the bottom panel of those who knowing the truth want to stop it. Kind of like, you kind of see everybody stealing themselves, getting ready for battle. I mean, even Usopp's got his slingshot out, taking some test pulls. And then fucking Luffy, of course, pops his head out of the sand and mate.
Hell yeah. That's our Luffy.
That's my main character.
And the onomatopoeia of doom. Wah! Just assume it's like a Waluigi. Wow, it's like wah!
I don't think so, but maybe.
It's fun that way. Okay, funny thing in the SBS is, doesn't Buggy bleed when he comes apart? And Oda be like, don't say such creepy things. You know how terrifying it would be if you spouted blood every time
Imagine
he did
just
that?
a bloodbath every single fucking time, right?
Just the battleground covered in blood.
And then also the unhinged question of, I have a secret I'd like to tell you, Master Oda, in a regular letter. Please tell me your home address. It's like, Oda, don't. This is how you get letter bombs in your mailbox.
Restraining order.
That's all I have.
All right. I thought it was kind of rich, Sanji calling out everyone else for their own coping mechanisms while he's got a cigarette in his mouth. Okay.
Yeah, y'all with all your vices.
How dare you do something to handle your stress?
Everybody got to smoke. I'm fucking feeding.
Yeah, I thought the water scene was definitely interesting. It clearly was put there deliberately. You know, the water's dripping on him, and he's holding him, and Crocodile reacts. The Luffy panel at the top of 8, I absolutely loved. Like, this is And I mean, it continues. The great Luffy damage scenes, they've been happening. They keep happening. They're good. We have not seen our main character in such a way yet. And yeah, it was awesome. I think one of the highlights of this whole chapter here for me was the Smoker Tashigi bit. It was just really interesting dynamic between them. It really kind of explored them in just 2 pages in a really detailed way.
That's true. Yeah, it's like it really gets into the nature of their relationship, but it's only, like you said, it's only 2 pages.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Oda's ability to give a lot of information in a little bit of space.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I really like both of their interactions here. I mean, I think each one is doing everything that they know to do. Smoker, again, he's been referred to as a mad dog, says that he's straight up going to sea. I swear he says something along the lines of where he's going, but
yeah, I think he just says he's going out to sea.
I won't say what that means, but it is interesting. He has a plan in mind, and whatever Tashigi does is kind of secondary. He knows what he has to do, and he trusts her enough to let her take her own. And then perhaps he also wants her to find her own way. Well, so kind of two-sided there.
Last volume, he did call. It's like, hey, get on the horn with the Navy and have all vessels in the area report to Alabasta.
Yeah.
So I think he's getting ready to organize the fleet and be like, all right, we're gonna come in and deal with this.
That's what his intentions are, for sure. Yeah, and she makes her decision. Good for her. She takes some time. I did not write that down, but I like that you guys pointed it out, that she's really not jumping to a conclusion.
Yeah, she thinks about possible consequences firsthand.
Yeah, and then I think this chapter ended in a really good way. I mean, this whole chapter's kind of been bouncing around. We just got Luffy losing. But it's like, hey, yeah, Luffy's down and out, but everything else is still happening here. Do not forget. And it really brings you right back into it with these last 2 pages, or last 4 pages, I would say, in a really artfully done and interesting way. It felt like quick cuts, the monologue kind of overstretching it. It was very cinematic. And yeah, just to kind of summarize, this chapter followed the events of Luffy versus Crocodile very well. It slowly released us back into the broader conflict. But it also, kept a little eye back on Luffy. I don't know, that couldn't have been packed into the next chapter where we see the last little bits of that. But that's, again, just me thinking out loud. Luffy's predicament showed many facets of how this main character can be defeated and how, I think V one time asked, I would like to see what it looks like if Luffy were to lose. Mm-hmm. I know that's kind of an odd thing to remember, but it just stuck with me.
Yeah.
You did say something along those lines.
I remember saying that. Yeah.
And this is kind of what it looks like. But yeah, I thought this felt good. I mean, again, after the heights of the last 2 chapters, maybe this was a little step back. I think you used that terminology earlier. But I didn't think it was a step back in a bad way. I liked it.
It's a lot to follow. Yeah. And the fact is, I think, because we are reaching the end of this arc,
we're all coming together now.
Right, it's all going to be intense from this point on. It's just putting the pieces together. So, yeah.
Yeah, I did like at the end of the chapter where he kind of like, again, tied in, like, all right, here are all the factions. Here's the convergence.
He's done that a couple times, but this one was the broadest, I think, because there is you're right, it's a lot to kind of keep track of, but I do believe that we are on a path to a convergence of all things. So, 180's Dylan.
Yeah, the opening image is really nice. I like Vivi out here panning for gold with the Tanuki.
Yeah.
Vivi?
Oh, Vivi, sorry, Nami. It's definitely Nami.
I loved this image, and it's not just because I love Nami. I just thought it was so funny.
Are they Tanuki or raccoons? Because I think I have raccoons in my notes, but
I know Tanuki is more of just like a raccoon spirit.
Okay, gotcha.
It's just like if Animal Crossing was more about prospecting, this is what it would look like.
Instead of just straight up capitalism, that's fair. Yeah. I love Animal Crossing, but
Nami definitely has the energy of a prospect. I could definitely see her saying unironically, "There's gold in them hills."
It's kind of funny because she's clearly worn down. She's working with them. Like I could see Nami pulling on more of a like a foreman kind of role.
It's a good job getting all that gold. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And here's one little nugget for you, and one little nugget for you.
2 nuggets for you, 2 nuggets for me.
She pays them in carrots. or whatever they eat.
And then I love the opening shot where it's like you get to see rain base in the background and just Luffy's little head sticking out of the sand.
Those setting shots, I noticed that you've appreciated them the most, I think, Dylan. You're an urban scape guy.
It might just be like that might be one of the reasons I like Attack on Titan as much as I do, because like the scapes and the scenario, like it's always done really, really well. And he does these really, really well too, which is why you've mentioned that the studio that did Attack on Titan is going to do a reproduction of One Piece. And it's like, I'd be very, very interested to see that. Because like Logtown done by them would be fucking very interesting to see.
Absolutely.
And they got Luffy kind of like going through his mind, like all the shit Crocodile said to him. The bottom panel, like you see him, the sand shifting, him panting, grunting and groaning, where it's like, no, I do not accept that as the fate. I'm going to fight against that, even though I'm on the verge of death. No, that will not happen. I will not let it happen. Really cool scene, but also super gross at the same time. Her using her crazy power with her arms to lift him out of the sand.
Hell yeah.
A great shot, but that, like,
so good. So
like
good.
Such, like,
I don't think it's really that nasty.
To me, it gives me like
cool.
Night of the Living Dead vibes, super hard. Like the arm, like they're pushing him up.
I get that.
But if you just saw the thing, it's like you would think the arms are dragging him down.
Watch this chapter in reverse.
It's like, oh god, zombies ate Luffy. And then I love the fact that like Luffy's just like, you know, he's just like, his first thing is like, well, he doesn't say thank, he says on you.
That's close enough.
But it's the fact that it's like he knows this is like a bad guy, but he's still like, no, thank you. Like, and then we get from her, why do you fight? It's one of those. And then again, V, I think you've hit it on the head. I think you really called it out that one time. The
hell yeah.
Why do you fight as one of those whose name is D? That,
it's all about that D.
I
have notes on that.
I think your call out from way back when were like, no, Gold D Roger kind of looks a lot like Luffy if you take off the mustache. So I'm thinking maybe that's
Ace having the same
Daddy
middle
Luffy.
initial also.
Yeah. And of course Luffy's confused like D, and her is like, just who are you people? And all I gotta say is like when you see one of her arms come out and throw the hat to her, she'd be amazing on like an ultimate frisbee team. I'm just saying. Like,
it didn't technically hit the ground.
That's cheating. No, it's part of her. It's still her. And then Pell's like, now that I know what your powers are, things will be different this time. It's like, oh, will they, buddy? I don't know. Her being able to sprout arms out of your body seems like something really hard to overcome.
That I'm still thinking to that shot. I think it was last volume when
with the
biblically
biblically. That's so good.
Yeah. Damn, like I say, bottom of fucking 6. That little halter top she got on. Damn. I'm gonna say them strings are fighting for their goddamn life.
It's okay. I embrace the moments where Dylan is being thirsty, because then it's not just me.
Yeah, but I'm not.
Because I feel like most of the time it's me being like, oh my god, they're so hot. And like, you know, we got Zoro, we got Miss Doublefinger that I've thirsted over recently. You know, like
Freckles.
So I'm happy. Yeah, Ace with his freckles. So I'm happy to see that, you know, Dylan is embracing the
yeah, but I was doing so much more. It's like, man, their titties are like, blow!
Don't make me spit my beer out.
And then she's like, be careful, you're hurt worse than you think. And it's just like, well, you're just in time. How
Probably true.
How about you help out this kid? He's about to fucking die. And then she kind of name drops on it. It's like, after all, he is the one who brought your princess home. So, and again, like me and you were saying, yep.
Watch
out, crocodile. Your back's got a target on it.
And she's
and
got
perhaps
good aim.
you have your back turned to the wrong side. Or, I don't know. It's the closest thing I got there.
Okay, Michael.
And then, of course, like, fucking Miss All Sunday's got, like, the fucking Lamborghini of, like, alligators. With the Acceligator?
The Lamborghini of alligators.
Acceligator? I'm sorry. That name?
The second fastest animal in Alabasta. Okay, maybe the Ferrari of alligators.
It was still a very clever name. Acceligator?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Love it.
This is ridiculous. And I love, like, Appel's kind of like, fuck, if I'm no match for her, who could protect the princess? And then Luffy's kind of like tugging on the edge of his shirt. It's like, meat. Give me meat. I'm the one. Feed me. I am that guy.
I wrote almost the same thing.
And then here we fucking go. Ladies and gentlemen, top of 8, the final rebel. Me. Fucking. That is one character you completely and totally wrote in a sense where it's like, this motherfucker dead. He dead as shit. But he's not.
I have thoughts. I have so many thoughts.
It's like,
I was so happy.
I'm not the fake out death. That's, to me, that is a very large fake out death. But at the same time,
and that's
it's like,
the thing.
Him being here might just be the tipping point they need to solve this issue.
Yeah.
You get the time countdown, approximately 5 hours, the rebel forces reach Alubarna. And then you got motherfucking Toto just sitting here, like, glaring down a sandstorm.
That old
just
man.
Like, that man has got, like, fucking Florida man energy. It's like, can I 4 out of 5 hurricane? Shit, I don't give no damn. You ain't making me leave my house.
You know how many sandstorms I've been through this year?
Those balls, steel.
They're also on the floor because they're so huge. But it's definitely the thing. It's like, oh, once the hurricane goes by, then it'll be nice. It's like once the sandstorms end, the rain will return, like always. That is interesting. I'm wondering if in the history of Alabasta, maybe there have been other people who've had Crocodile's power who did the same thing.
Oh, because of the like always?
Because, like, yeah, like always, it's like once the sandstorms end, because he's aware, it's like these sandstorms are happening more than they should. This is not natural. This has happened before in our history, and once it's done, the rain comes back.
Maybe. Also, I feel like, I don't know, we haven't had a really good grasp of, like, age and the way that time passes in this. Like, I don't know how old Crocodile is and how, like, we kind of know how long this whole thing has been going on, but I don't know.
So, since the very beginning, this has been less than a year.
Since he started his journey?
Since Luffy started his journey, since we picked up this has been much less than a year. I think it's maybe been 6 months tops.
Yeah, okay, damn. Okay. And then, top of 10, do your worst, you blasted sandstorm, you'll never defeat Yuba. That just makes me think of, like, the gif of the dude standing out in the street during a hurricane holding an American flag in one hand and a shotgun in the other. Very much. Also, like, Lieutenant Dan. Like, strike me down, God! Listen, they're like on a shrimp boat in the middle of a hurricane. Oh, Jesus Christ. The fact that, like, we're not going to make it. The river's right up ahead. Do something. And then do something. Then fucking Chopper. I've got it.
I'm eye-rolling, too.
I've got it. Pincers likes dancing girls, and the second he sees that fucking creepy-ass freak of a fucking crab switches his eye stalks around.
That freak
of a crab. Like, yeah!
No! Why do they
Original sentences.
Why do they have to make the crab a fucking predator? Please, don't.
And even the fucking camels getting into it.
Yo, the animals of this country are kind of freaky.
Yeah. Fucking all the animals in this fucking country is like their theme song is Who's Gonna Match My Freak. I know, you know what? Props to Oda for not showing the dancing. Because I think a lot of other mangas do and like would and do show shit like that.
That's a good point.
And the fact that he's just like, no.
Let's not say he's shied away from some other sussy moments, but yeah, we'll give him props for props.
But no, it's like, okay, this is kind of like a bit of a sexualizing of a character, but I'm not going to full out show you the flat out sexualization of a character.
Right. It's implied.
You're going to hear about it, yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear fucking Sanji getting hard from over here.
Oh, please.
So it's a miracle he's running on water. Oh, some miracle as he sinks below the surface of the water.
I love this next panel. Not to get ahead of you, but...
We get the rare Sandoran catfish. And then, yes, fuck yeah. And then we get a hit with the fucking definitely like 90s anime. Kawam! That onomatopoeia, this is like so like old school comic book coded. Like old school...
Oh, yeah.
Like old school Batman kind of like onomatopoeia. Bam! Wham! And then we get to see the fucking Kung Fu Jogons just swarm this motherfucker.
You like them?
Yes. The Kung Fu Jugons are probably one of my favorite animals so far. They're just so funny.
I love them too. I am right there with you. I'm so glad to hear you say that because they're one of my favorites too.
They're amazing.
Oh, don't get me started. They're my favorite, but like the Kings are coming up next. And I just love the fact that they're all hanging out like on top of the thing and they're like, Orf! And they're all like, fuck yeah, dude, let's fucking go. I just imagine them as all like little tiny gym bros.
Yeah.
Just like, let's fucking go, bro. Let's do it, brother.
At least they're not like super horny like every other.
Yeah. The only thing that gets us off is fighting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then I love the fact that it's like, what the other thing Kung Fu Drugons are good at? Being tugboats. And they just drag the dead ass fish behind them with them all on it.
Love it.
Which only takes an hour to cross 30 miles. So they're going 30 miles an hour, dragging a giant dead fish.
That's good
impressive.
for them.
Yeah.
They're just working on their gains right now.
Yeah, like honestly, this is great cardio. Like, if we're going for personal best, like this is the kind of stuff you need to do beforehand. And then they're kind of all like, all right, shit, we got 3 hours left. I'm not sure we'll make it in time. What are we gonna do? And then bam, we get hit with quack. We get the fucking Karu Squirtle squad in this bitch.
Hell fucking
I'm
yes.
so glad I got to go first because I really wanted to be the one to make the Squirtle squad connection. Because these motherfuckers...
It is in my notes.
They are so Squirtle squad coded. Like,
It's
so
in my notes.
I love that they each have their own little style going on.
Yeah, you got the guy like with the Roman Centurion helmet. He smokes a cigar. He's cool as shit. We got the one who's supposed to be a pimp. Looks like he got a bottle of like Hennessy around his neck. And then we also got the cool mysterious dude with
He kind of reminds me of Mihawk.
a Duck Dora on.
Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing
Yeah.
Duck.
DuckTales.
yeah.
Ooh. Boom, 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 boom. But yeah. And like, I love the fact that it's like, oh, now we find it's like, we love Karu. Karu's so cute. He's so cute. He's so fun. He's so kawaii. And it's like, oh, apparently he's like the fucking squad leader of like this secret military unit of ducks.
I fucking knew it. I knew that Karu would show up. I had all of my faith in Karu, and it paid off.
He ain't done yet.
Nope.
He ain't done yet.
Let him cook. And then we get back more to Baroque Works, and they're kind of more coming together. Basically just being like, oh, we could have done it. Like, they're kind of bragging. They're like, oh, we're stronger. No, we're stronger. It's kind of the vibe I get from their whole interaction. And pretty much their argument is like, no, we're going to be the ones who get to kill the princess. It's pretty much what they're getting at. And then like the final panel of like her portrait that they've been using to track her down being cut in half on a black background. Very nice. All right, but yeah, that's all I got. Fun little chapter there.
Yeah, it was a
See
good
all
one.
the cute animals.
So 180, as Dylan pointed out, the intro images have been a treat. I love that, of course, Nami would be the one to have a little gold digging operation, because if anyone in the group is going to do it, it's going to be Nami.
Nami a gold digger? She only charged me $100 to go out with her.
And you would say yes. Come on.
Yeah. Pay that easy.
And yeah, her little raccoon helpers are adorable. I really like the two little guys in the front. One of them is examining the gold with his little like what's it called?
Monocle?
Monocle or
It's like a jeweler's glass, whatever they call those.
Yeah. I think that's weird.
Kind of. And the other one is washing something, as raccoons do. I thought that was very cute. And chapter's off to a great start. The pacing over pages 2 and 3 really highlights the tension and the gravity of the situation. It's built up really well, and it, to me, culminates really... it's beautiful, but it's also absolutely fucking terrifying in the bottom panel of page 3 with Miss All Sunday's arms sprouting from the sand to lift Luffy out of the sand. Like it looks almost like a statue from like the Baroque period. Like the way that it's, I don't know, the way that it's drawn feels very like
majestic.
Yeah, majestic and artistic and whatnot. But also, I don't know. I feel like throughout this chapter, Dylan and I's initial inclinations as to the nature of Miss All Sunday's allegiance is kind of coming to light. We don't have any sort of formal confirmation yet, but, signs seem to be pointing at that. We don't get much in the way of an explanation regarding her intention, like I just said. In fact, page 4 and 5 bring about even more questions as far as I'm concerned. The whole thing about her asking Luffy why he fights, to me, it's also in the way that she phrased it. Like, the way she says, as one of those whose name is D, implies that she thinks that since he has that name, he shouldn't be fighting? Or, Or is she wondering why he fights and advertises that name? Like, I'm wondering, in what sense does she view that name as being important? Like, yeah, it's almost as if because he has the name D, why do you fight as one of those whose name is D? Yeah, it's either she's questioning why he fights because he shouldn't need to, or why he fights carrying that name with pride. And I'm not sure which one it is. Anyway, the phrasing was odd for me for that, and led me to ask myself more questions. The close-up of Luffy's angered face as he said meat through gritted teeth at the bottom of page 7 was great. That's our Luffy. He's hungry and he's angry. And oh my god, I have never been happier to read me on a page. I had a little, like a mini shriek. I was like, it's him! It's Igaram! He's back! I'm not sure exactly how he survived the explosion. But I am wondering if Miss All Sunday didn't intentionally spare him. Or somehow avoided the potential lethal aspect of her attack. Because she is the one that has presumably killed him back. I can't remember in which volume that was. But she was
certainly sparing a lot of her opposition.
Exactly. So I'm wondering if that wasn't intentional on her part. Let's just say I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. And we also literally just saw her save Luffy. As Michael pointed out, it's not the first time that she's saved one of her presumed opponents. So yeah, something to think about.
That is a cool concept that maybe she's, let me keep you alive because you might be able to come back and do something that's going to benefit me. And
kind of like you pointed out, I think it was in the last episode when she gave them the log pose. The eternal pose to get to Alabasta.
Yeah, because that's one of those things.
I think she wanted them there.
My boss's plan, but my boss is going to like the fact that they're there.
Yeah. She wanted them there for a reason, and it seems to me like she also wanted Igaram to be there. So I don't know. Page 10, I thought, was excellent with Toto screaming at the sandstorm and the landscape panel of the storm underneath. I thought that was just a good, well-drawn shot, page 10. I had a little bit of an eye roll moment here as the crab is charmed by Nami and it gets him in the water, but I didn't hate it. It still made me kind of laugh, but I'm like, I
like that it didn't result in their immediate crossing the river. I like that the plan didn't actually work, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I get that, because then it would have been like, oh, come on, guys, please. But it was a little cringe. Again, maybe it's about who the target audience is. Teenage boys would probably find that hilarious. I like I said, didn't hate it. Wasn't exactly my cup of tea. Again, I just want to point out, shout out to Chopper's ability to understand animal speech. Comes in handy. Has come in handy several times, actually, since he's joined the crew. And it's probably going to come in handy some more.
Listen, animal handling is an underrated D&D skill.
It absolutely is. Another example of Vivi saying something at the last moment, as Dylan pointed out, when she talks about how rare it is to see one of the catfish. It's just her timing saying, oh, it's super rare to see one of those. Oh, by the way, they eat man flesh. Yeah. Was like, maybe you should have said that in the opposite order.
It's like, hey, this thing's going to kill us, but it's super rare.
Yeah. The bottom panel of page 15, fantastic. The Kung Fu Jugons are back and they look so happy with themselves. I really love, in the middle of that panel, the two little guys giving each other a fist bump. Yeah. That was great.
I want to hold one.
I know. I want one as a pet, please. And yeah, Dylan was the one to say it, but I'll just read my notes verbatim.
Let's go!
I'm getting spoiled with the animal panels. At the bottom of page 17, we're seeing the Supersonic Duck Squadron, which is apparently Alabasta's swiftest unit, which is led by none other than Karoo, my baby boy. Also, seeing them reminds me of the Squirtle Squad in Pokemon. It was there. I had to. But yeah, that was...
the Rohirrim.
Oh, we're old. We're so old.
If you don't get Squirtle Squad, I apologize that your child.
We can't date. If you don't get Squirtle Squad, you are too young for me. But yeah, that was a really, really good panel, a good moment, kind of a like, oh, they're here. Yeah. Yeah. I like seeing Baroque Works agents arguing in the last couple of pages of the chapter. They've done that before, they're doing it again. In a way it reminds me of the banter that we sometimes see between the Straw Hats, but
There's a lot more vanity to the
yeah,
Baroque Works, though.
they're just a little bit more, and I feel like that additional kind of bite to it will bring about disagreements that might backfire on them. I feel like the lack of cohesion within the group is not a good sign. So, yeah. And I did want to point out that I appreciated the I think it's the second entry in the SBS, which explains the origins of the Baroque Works name and the character designs and how it was based off of Baroque as in the art style. I thought that was pretty cool.
It makes sense why they're so obnoxiously drawn. He
Yeah,
says it.
They're so like flamboyant, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that's what I had for 180.
So, I also really loved the cover art quite a bit.
Yeah, you did.
Miss All Sunday, I'll focus on her for the first part here. She was very aloof for this whole thing. She's still not, and I think you guys have echoed this, not playing her whole hand. There's still something that we don't know. I liked it. It keeps you invested. It's intriguing. You still want to know more. And I just want to give a call out to V and Dylan. You know, you guys called out this kind of behavior ahead of time.
Yeah,
what
we
it
did.
all really means is yet to be uncovered. But you guys kind of nailed the suspicion. And I just got to give you guys a clap of the hand, a tip of the hat. Continue to love the damage art on Luffy. Again, we don't see him this deep in it, and we haven't before. And then he says meat to Pell as if to say me. And I thought that was just kind of really interesting couple panels there, dialogue. It said more than it was actually saying. Not a huge stretch, I don't think, but I liked it. And then Igarim, I wasn't sure how you guys would take this, because again, fake out death, but I was ready to say something along the lines of, it was Miss All Sunday who was the one who put the nail in his metaphorical coffin.
Although, I will admit, because I remember we had talked about, it's like, well, I think V, you might have been like, well, would Miss Sunday end up becoming a member of the crew? And I was like, no, she killed Igaram. They would never let it happen. But now that Igaram's alive,
that was last episode. I'm still thinking that she
still
might.
alive, and if it turns out she has been like pulling punches to make sure all these people can come together at the critical moment, I can see it now. Like, before I was like, no, there's no way. But the fact that Igaram's alive, it's like, maybe.
Yeah.
That being said, this is a look ahead moment. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. When I said it'll get worse before it gets better, this is not what I'm talking about.
It's not the worst one? Okay.
So, just keep your eyes peeled. Keep your heart steeled.
Yeah.
Intense sandstorm scene. You guys have hit it on the head. Don't think I need to say anything else about it. Loved it. The creep camel, creep crab, creepy animals, seeing pretty girls dancing. It's not really funny. I did think him running into the water as if he was going to do something and then immediately sinking was kind of funny. Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny way to resolve it, but I agree with you, V.
Now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, it's not quite distasteful, but it's getting close. Like, it's inching towards being distasteful.
Right. Agree. But when they're in the water, there's two panels, and I think I'm getting first dibs on this, is that Chopper clinging to Zoro is so cute. As a big Zoro fan myself, pages, top of 14, kind of top of 15.
Oh,
like
yeah, and he's like on top of Zoro. That's adorable.
It is really cute, the fact that he's waving to the crab. It's like, bye!
Yeah. And then when things are going bad, he's clinging to him.
Oh, I want Zoro's babies.
Zoro's clearly somewhat okay with this. He's taking on that role. Aww. Remember when he was like, Chopper, if you get big, I'm not gonna pull you.
I know, he's like full dad mode now.
Yeah,
and
like Chopper and fucking Zolo definitely have like big brother, little brother vibes.
It's so cute. It's Okay.
I'm gonna poke some holes in the condoms, I swear to God.
Oh my God. Don't say it. That's getting distasteful.
you can, let's see when you do the edit, but
I'm not cutting that out.
Oh no.
Pretty sure that's like illegal. You might be able to go to jail for that one.
Not in Canada.
Oh, true. They need more bodies to add to the proletariat.
That's a weird comment. Anyway. Yeah, communist Canada with their free market economy. But just in the light of what happened last chapter, where Zoro is dragging him, and he just like speaks to him with that kind of elder, but still, I don't know if loving's the right word, but it certainly wasn't. He likes having.
I would say
around,
like protective. Like
yeah.
He still wants what's best for him, but
he
he's
wants
not,
to
like,
pull him.
overt about
He's okay
it.
with it.
Yeah, you
He
realize
wants to
I'm
pull him on a
stronger.
little
I
cart.
have to.
Yeah.
You're not meant for this. I'll help you out.
Like, I'm keeping an eye on you. Like, I'm making sure you're okay, but I'm not making it, like, overt and obvious.
Like, if you make this hard on me, you're walking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, you mentioned all that in, like, middle of 15. He's like, at the point where it's like, all right, it's enough. Get off my fucking face.
And then, yeah, just kind of shout out to the animals, the camel, that Eyelash, who continues to play a part in this, as we see. The crab, the catfish, and then the Jugons. I mean, this really is the land of animals.
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy. It was very fun.
Like I said, they better bring the Jugons with them this time. It's like, hey, you're gonna fight an army. You might as well have some martial arts masters with you.
Right?
It's true.
I love the Jugons. They steal the show when they're around, and I love seeing them drag the big catfish. I mean, I think talking about, like cardio. This is cardio, bro. The characterization of them as just gym rats is hilarious to me. And then the Duck Squad shows up. I mean, can we get any cute? Can we get much cuter? One issue I want to take, which is difficult for me in light of you guys' love for the squad, which I love them too, is it does require a little extra suspension of disbelief that they're there at the right time. But that's not just One Piece. That's manga. I think you see it even in American comics and animation. You know, a lot of stuff like this happens, let's say, in our superhero movies and comics that we love. You know, the right person shows up at the right time. Why? Because they did. Pardon me if I'm repeating myself from past episodes, but one literary trope that I take somewhat issue with is Deus Ex Machina, which V can probably back me up, means God from the machine. Mm-hmm. And it's when a solution to a supposedly unsolvable problem just kind of appears. And again, you that's what these types of stories ask of you, is to take your disbelief, put it on the back burner, let the story tell itself, appreciate the good moments, appreciate that, there is a solution, and look forward to what's coming next. And yeah, I would say that them showing up at just the right time is me nitpicking. I say that a lot, but I love Alabasta, I love this arc, and yeah, I would say all the good overshadows any kind of Deus Ex Machina here. And then we get the final couple panels, which is Baroque Works. I'm not gonna really comment on that much. I just think the Duck Squadron would have been a way better final panel. Like, Duck Squadron, next page, SBS.
I mean, that's fair.
Perfect. I think they stole the show, and then there's still more show to watch. What am I watching at this point?
Right. That's fair.
Yeah, I would say overall, I think this chapter ended in as far as tension and everything, a lower place than it began, and a lower place than the previous chapters have kind of put us, which is that's not me critiquing it. That is just another note. We're still taking a step back every so often, kind of surveying the situation. There's still a point B to get to. We're not at the final spot yet, and that's okay. I am fine with that. The true outcome of this is still a little bit of ways. We still have some journey yet to go through, and I felt it was necessary. You can't just hand wave them being there, and I thought this was a fun way to get them there. It introduced some fun stuff, some fun characters, and yeah, I liked it. It can't be Go all the time.
Right.
And even when it is go, it doesn't mean that it has to be go until it's over.
Right. And I feel like this whole volume is very much go. So it's normal that within the volume itself you have some little dips once in a while.
What must go up must come down.
That's it.
I enjoyed it, and I loved Miss All Sunday's scenes. I thought that was probably the high point of the chapter for me. V, 181?
So, 181. I'm not going to say much about the intro image in this case. I thought it was fine. So far I have really enjoyed the character specific intro images, but this one doesn't really speak to me. I promise I'm not still sour about Sanji being a dick to Zoro a little earlier. it just didn't do it for me the same way that the other ones did. The chapter opens with the rebels almost having reached Alubarna and the royalists spotting them and getting ready to defend the city. It does a really good job at reestablishing the stakes and where we're at in the more political conflict aspect of it. Because I think while obviously we know now that Crocodile has been kind of the catalyst for the tensions between the rebels and the royalists, this is a conflict that feeds itself without now the involvement of Baroque works. They're going to fight one way or the other. So it's nice to kind of see us come back to that part of the conflict that maybe isn't solely surrounding Crocodile, but more like the tensions that he has brought on. His involvement is a little bit less direct. I felt a little bit blue-balled when the chapter then jumps back to the West Gate and the Baroque Works agents. Again, because we're talking about the pacing of the story. I feel like I would have liked to linger on what we had established to start the chapter with a little bit longer, but that's me being nitpicky because usually Oda does a really good job at pacing. But I do like seeing the members of Baroque Works argue and interact, so I wasn't too mad at that. Sure enough, the arguing makes them not hear Mr. 4, warning them about their arrival and getting them caught off guard. So maybe you should stop arguing.
If you don't pay attention, Mr. 4 will get completely, in every panel he's a part of.
He's always talked over.
Yeah.
All the time.
I love that. Yeah.
Poor guy. Even though he has some very important things to say, they just don't pay attention to him. Yeah, right? The spread over pages 8 and 9 was really nice. I can't really put my finger on it specifically, but for some reason, it was very visually appealing to me. Just the way that the panels are organized on those 2 pages on 8 and 9. We see the cloaked shapes of the riders, and then more close-up shots of the members of Baroque Works. I thought it was a really nice and interesting 2-page spread.
I don't know why I can't get over it. The imagery I'm getting is the Nazgul riding the Karoo ducks.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, a little bit.
Cloaks. It's just
yeah.
It's like how could you really throw out the severity of the Nazgul? Ducks.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot actually for this chapter. Eyelashes being the stand-in for Vivi was a good little plot twist, and I love seeing all of their faces at pages 16 and 17. I just think that 2-page spread is magnificent. Other than eyelashes,
it's so good.
It's so good. Other than eyelashes, they all have so much resolve and pride in their faces, and it makes me
even
love
Usopp.
Right, even Usopp is being a little bit cocky, and then Nami with the tongue out, the grin on Zoro's face, Sanji looking cocky and confident, and then Chopper in his kind of menacing but also freaky as shit half human form. I don't know. Just too bad wrong. I that's a really, really good 2-page spread. At that point I said, curious if those are going to be the matches. Usopp and eyelashes versus no. So the matchups end up changing
a little
bit, this volume. Yeah. Because I was thinking at the time that they weren't evenly matched. I did not think that Usopp could take on Mr. 2. And even if Zoro is quite the warrior, he would have been in essence alone against the 2 strongest agents.
Right.
On the other hand, I felt like just one person could have faced Mr. 4 and Miss Merry Christmas, which we end up, finding out that it's not just one person, but it is who I would consider to be the 2 weakest members of the crew taking on that
I would
duo.
agree.
So, but yeah, at the time we didn't really quite know what the matchups were going to be. And I really loved just the really final shot of the chapter with Vivi riding on Crew's back, headed straight for the rebellion. I have some goosebumps moments coming up in terms of like big emotions and stuff happening with regards to Vivi kind of throwing herself in that aspect and that side of the conflict, but that was a good way to kick that side off. It's a good way to end the first half of the volume, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I had for 181. Not a whole lot.
The cover page is interesting to me because it's kind of like, what are they playing? And also, like, the Sanji, I used to be a smoker looking at that ashtray behind you. Brother, like...
that might not be all him. It looks like a bus stop.
Yeah, it does look like a public...
Might want to stop. I know, fucking Sanji's a Luke Kuechly fan. Yay!
Is he 59?
Yeah, Luke Kuechly's 59.
Hell yeah. Always knew you had it in you, brother.
I knew there's a reason I like this man. Gets the concussions out for another fucking six arcs.
Yeah.
He's just like
Dylan,
Luke Kuechly for real.
Yeah.
Oh. But again, opening shot, just like seeing the rebellion just amassed on the dunes out in the distance. The perspective of looking through the spyglass.
Those opening shots have been happening a lot lately. You just kind of opened my eyes to it, but I feel like almost every chapter has had that kind of establishing shot, is what I think it's called.
Yeah, because like, especially in this one, because it's like, all right, the action is here, so he opens it up.
Yeah, we are juggling some locations.
So he's opening it to show the perspective, like the scope and scale of what's about to happen.
Yeah,
Which I find like very interesting.
This whole side of Baroque works, like in Alubarna, has been very conducive to those opening shots for sure, because, and like Dylan said, because we're divided into so many different factions and so much action is going on at different like physical places, it makes sense to me that they would do that.
Hold the fucking phone. What was the name of the doctor the Chopper was with?
Hirlook, yeah.
Or
is it just me
or the lady?
Hirlook, no. Top of page 3 in the background of the rebellions, does that not look exactly like Hirlook? Guy in the top hat right behind Koza.
There's a lot of people to look at. Oh my god, a little bit.
It looks exactly like Hirlook. It's like, did Hirlook?
It looks like an old man with a top hat.
Oh yeah.
But the hair's kind of done in the same fashion. It's like, did he not actually blow himself up?
I can see the resemblance, yeah.
Dylan,
Hirlook's still alive,
spoiler
baby.
alert, this is not Hirlook, I'm sorry, I'm so sad.
No, I'm going for it. He blew himself up, which killed the illness in him. But he's still alive. He blew up the cancer eating his body from the inside and survived.
It's like Harry Potter when he got Avada Kedavra, it only killed the Horcrux.
Yeah, only killed which cool. I think you guys kind of get to see like all both sides squaring up, ready for battle, and more of one thing I found interesting because you kind of got, like you said, Mr. Four the whole time was like, they're here, like guys, they're here.
Monster, ghost.
And I love this little detail that's on 6. Like they see the ducks, and also when they're coming in the ducks, like the back of my head, it's like on dawn of the third day, look to the east.
Yeah.
Kind of those kind of vibes of them coming in.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "There's more of them now. 6 of them." Scratching Straw Hat off the list there should only be 4 left. Sanji's not on that list because so Sanji is still an unknown character in this. They still don't know about Sanji. Very interesting. I found that interesting.
Well, yes, that ends up being correct. There's like an anyway, we'll get there eventually when the riders are all unveiled, but yes.
Yeah, one of them's a camel, but the other's Sanji. That's cool. It's the fact that that's been brought back to life is interesting to me. And the 2-page shot of them all cloaked up on Duckback. Really nice. And then
Duckback Mountain.
Mr. Two is like, "It's so iffy."
He says that a lot. Is that your catchphrase? It's not landing.
It's kind of lame. So Mr. Four shoots the baseball at him. He goes tick tick. And I guess it's just, I'm assuming that Zolo says don't go near it. I'm guessing he's just on reflex. He's like, there's no way, there's not more to that than what it is, so just don't go near it. Because if it was Vivi, I could see it being Vivi. It's like, no, those are explosive. Like, keep away, that's his power.
I could see Zoro being just inherently suspicious of any projectile.
Yeah, it's like, wait, it just bounced on the ground? No, there's more to it.
Nah, yeah. He's a
And
self-aware king, don't forget.
Yeah, and then it kind of, because it's hard to show their speed so much, but then like Mr. Two being like, oh, they dodge it, those birds are fast. Kind of like more reinforcing the speed of these ducks. And then the Usopp coming with the fire star to just kind of create distractions so they can get around.
I thought that was great. Like,
Yeah.
Usopp, hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because their goal is not to fight these guys, it's to get into the city and get people to stand down. And they do a fantastic job. The way they go, their tactics for that is very, very, very good. And then I love the fact that the one duck has just got it's going helmet to helmet contact with Mr. Two.
Yeah.
Just puts its head down and runs him the fuck over. And then the Royal, I like as they're coming through the gates, like the Royal Army sees it's like, wait, that's the Supersonic Duck Squad, let him in. And then the reveal, they're like, haha, we're not the real princess, you losers. The next couple pages, like 18 to 19 and all that, they're kind of like, you're getting to see like a little bit of the personality of the different ducks. Because top panel, when Mr. Two is facing off against Usopp and Eyelashes, you got the one duck who's just drinking from his thing, just chilling. The other one's just nothing but static going through its head.
It says days.
Yeah, exactly. It's just static. And then the other two definitely matching Usopp's energy. And it's like, yeah, get him, Solo. And they're like, yeah, get him, guy.
You mean Nami's energy?
Is that Nami?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Usopp is in the panel just
Usopp,
above.
yeah, true that.
Also, Nami saying, get it, Zo.
Yeah, get it over with. Yeah, just like, I know you're going to beat them, so just hurry up and get to it. Which we still haven't seen her weapon yet. I'm still interested to see her to use the Storm Baton. Or whatever it was called.
Yeah, that's true. She did
Climate
get that.
baton, but yeah.
Yeah, the Climate Baton, because they made a big deal of showing that, so I'm interested.
Yeah. It's
Small
for sure
deal,
it's
but
gonna
a
come
deal.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I really got. Yeah, good, cool chapter. The tactic of the whole cloak and dagger, just like create like create 6 targets that can't get all targets and split up and get them chasing false leads. So that was cool. I like that. But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I don't think I have any significant departures from me, and my notes were pretty short. Straw Hats have arrived. Baroque Works is watching them. And we're really setting up Straw Hats versus Baroque Works, and then on the other side of that, Royals versus Rebels here. So 4 of our factions are kind of coming together. I think the only one who I'm missing, quote unquote, is the Navy, which, I mean, we don't know exactly how they're going to play in this. I think that they're still kind of a mystery at this point as to what part they really will play. I mean, we know Tashigi's coming for the Straw Hats, so it'll be interesting to see how they mix things up. I love the idea. I love the panels of the Straw Hats on the ducks. Very mysterious. It's an interesting plan. The split up actually makes sense here. And, they leave Vivi to come last. I thought the whole thing was kind of Picasso. I like it. And then, this is a minor note. Did they really put a whole ass camel on the back of a duck? That seems unfair for that duck. I mean, I know they're known for transporting people, but...
These ducks are built different.
Yeah, they're just built different. And I really liked the Zoro-Nami interaction. I thought that was fun. I thought that Nami saying, you got this, I'm going to stay back here, as she keeps her distance. And Zoro's just like, keep quiet.
Shut up, woman.
I thought it was good. I really like, this is my conclusion, I really like how this chapter is leading into Baroque Works versus Straw Hats. I like the split up. I mean, I like the whole plan. They all get to kind of take a part in protecting Vivi. It was some fun, good-looking art along the way. Loved it. And 182 will be Dylan.
Okay, yeah. Opening shot, get to see a Marine galleon, which seems like it does have a mortar. But I'm curious. It says short-term cover series number 4, Escape.
Escapee.
Dude, I'm sorry with that dude. Like, if it wasn't the fact that he was an Arlong pirate, like, he's a chill dude. Like, I probably
I know, and we get into that through that intro image story, but visually,
just don't touch me with your freak ass arms. Yeah,
it's just we can be friends. I'm just literally never gonna look at you.
Let's go fishing. And then opening up, we get the flashback of Crocodile saying Vivi and Koza must not meet. And they get a nice shot of like cannonballs being set up and they're clacking around because the ground's vibrating because you have the whole of the rebellion showing up. And interesting to see, the mass majority of them are on camels, but there is one guy on a fucking horse. Mm-hmm. Which I'm not sure. Have we seen horses in One Piece yet? I don't think we've seen an actual just like flat out fucking horse.
I don't know that we have either.
Yeah, that's the one. And it's right like smack dab in the middle of that panel.
And I love like again perspective shots. You get Vivi with Karoo standing outside the front of the city. You get to see the city, and also city is given hella fucking Minas Tirith vibes.
Yeah, yeah.
Where it's like a city built on top of a mountain plateau. Yeah.
All of the Lord of the Rings
like it.
references.
Y'all some Lord of the Rings nerds.
And then, like, again, she's facing down the army. Another great perspective shot. All the dust flying. This is like Rohirrim first coming over the hills when they hide from them kind of vibes. Where it's just like there's a massive dust plume they see before they see the actual army coming. And then Vivi, yeah, you got some balls. Top of 5. Just amid of a 2 million strong cavalry charge. Stands out in front and tries to scream, "Rebels, stop. This battle is a setup." And I like, it's like you see the top panel of that in 5 shows like she's giving it her all. She's shouting at the top of her lungs like, everybody stop, And then like they cuts to the other panel underneath it. This battle is a setup. And that to me is kind of, without like implicitly like going like spelling it out, being like, okay, top panel, real big, real loud. But this other panel, no, it's actually kind of, it's kind of small. You got to think there's 2 million people charging. You're not going to hear her. And I think the way he did that panel really kind of highlights that. And Koza's just kind of like, huh? And you also get the hear me out. And then you get that last panel of the thing where it's just like, she's speaking, but it's not heard. There's too much cacophony of noise. And then a big explosion at the front of the charge. And this is what I really like, the detail behind this. Like, you have the shot, and they're like, what the fuck, was someone standing there? It's like, over there, don't be ridiculous. Never mind that. And then we get to see Koza as the one riding a horse, so, okay. Of course, the leader of the rebellion would be on a stallion when everyone else is just on camels. It's a good way to, like, now I look back on it, it's a really good way to point out the important character in a very large scene where there's just a lot going on, and it's like, okay, he's the guy, the leader's on the horse. So, good detail. So they start charging in, and then Koza, I guess, feels like he hears his name. And it's kind of like, what the fuck? Everybody's like, what is it? And he's like, and then you get, again, Vivi screaming out is just getting drowned out by all the background noise. Like, I really, like, I feel like this is the first time he's done it, where it's like, speech, screaming, and yelling is happening, but it's being drowned out, or it's being blocked out.
We haven't seen these flatline text bubbles before.
I really like that, and I like that being used as a tool. I don't think it's something I've ever seen in, like, manga and shit in general, and I really, really, really like it. It's a really good way.
I'm with you.
It adds
Until I even notice it.
It adds some depth to it, for sure.
Because it's like, you're reading through a medium that doesn't have sound, but in this way he's created a soundscape behind it, which to me is great.
And you understand that while you might be reading it, the character in the story might not be hearing it, right?
If anything, it's just murmurs on the wind.
Yeah. And
then that Koza, you get the great panel, bottom of 9 and top of 10 of Koza just blasting past her, and her desperately just trying. It's like, no, wait, stop. And she gets trampled a little bit. And then we get to see Karoo kind of steps it up. It's like, quack, my queen.
I love Karoo.
Yeah, Karoo's great. I actually do really like Karoo. And it's like, all right, Vivi, you're a princess. You got to stay with the kingdom. Come on. Usopp needs a mount.
Yeah.
We've seen Usopp Karoo team up as a mount. That would be like...
It's what he's missing.
Yeah, it's like pistoliers back in the day, where it's like you had ranged guys with handguns on cavalry, so they charge up to the line, bang, 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 like fire off a huge volley at the line, dip off, circle around, come back again, do it again. Bottomish half of 11. You get to see a shot of like the top of the wall, and you get to see the cannons light up. It's like, all right, everybody ready the cannons. And like they say cannons, like this ain't like cannonball cannons kind of deal. I mean, it's just play the
look at the plating on them.
Yeah, those are like field guns.
Yeah,
those are the things that like they would use, like the first couple tanks, they would use things like that to take them out. Like these are anti-tank guns essentially. It's like these are like fucking 30 millimeter cannons. It's like holy shit. And then we get the bottom of that panel, just the thud and the hand on the ground after like seeing Vivi get trampled. It's like, oh my god, holy shit. And then the cannons go off, and the 2-page spread. Oh my god, the cannons going off. Everybody's grit and determination, and the fact that it's like, all right, the first artillery wave hit, and it kind of devastated the cavalry charge, because now you see the soldiers are on foot.
Look at the stairs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't even. Oh Jesus Christ. Yeah, you're right. Holy shit. Yeah, they're already just like flooding up. Damn, that's a really good panel. This might be my favorite panel of the whole volume. Damn. And I like how it's like it's weird to hear it take Alubarna. Don't let their numbers intimidate you. Attack. Bro, y'all are the ones who are 2 million strong. Like, why aren't you like, hey, we have the numbers, attack? That to me is a weird line.
I had to think about it, but yeah, I would say it is odd, but I imagine their numbers are supplemented by peasants and just
True,
like
just
merchants and city folk.
just the person they can put a gun in their hand. Yeah, not
Yeah.
actually trained. And then top of 14, you actually get to see the actual battle, the clash between the royalists and the rebels. And that top panel kind of gives just because the design of the not Helm's Deep specifically, like the last alliance, Helm's Deep is considered the last alliance of man and elves, but like when they're at Mordor getting ready to try and destroy the ring, when you have the orc line just charging the elven line, and they do like the sword swoop to take out the
Yeah.
Definitely that kind of energy. Also, Lux in here again. I mean, can you not see it?
I see it.
Top of 14. He's there again. And the fact that he's like, it keeps coming back is like weirding me out. It's like,
maybe Oda just likes to draw him.
he likes top hats. I mean, I get it.
It's like, I like top hats too.
I kind of think it's cool. Middle 14, kind of get to see the one royal guy, the one big royal guy using like, it's not really a rope dart, but it's kind of that whole concept where it's
Looks like a flail.
Yeah, but it's all chain, which is why I think more rope dart than anything. And also like the rightmost panel of that, or the middle, is them shooting up at the top of the thing and the one guy's falling off. Back of my head, Wilhelm scream. Oh no. I forgot about this. Oh god, and then we go to the next page.
Oh.
And it's just that's almost getting me as hard as the fucking dog. The dog crying outside of its master's house burning down. But just Karoo
but Karoo actually means
Vivi.
something to people.
Excuse the fuck out of me. That dog, I would give everything for that dog.
You mean wait? What dog? Because I was thinking about the dog in Futurama.
Orangetown, yeah. Oh, when they're fighting off, that's when they're fighting Buggy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the dog, but
dog.
Yeah, dog, good boy.
Oh, what's his name?
And it's just like kind of heart wrenching because Karoo's just out, and it's like for the most part,
Shoo.
you kind of think he's completely dead. Yeah, that's it. Shoo. Kind of think he's dead. I mean, you get to the leftmost panel where he's like shaking a little bit, so he's still clinging to life, but it's kind of a heart-wrenching scene. When she gets up, it's like, oh my god, Karoo, you shielded me. And it's just kind of, this also kind of like shows a bit of Vivi's resolve and everything. She's like, I'm so sorry. It's like, forgive me, even though you gave it your all. The battle still went through. It's like, but don't worry, I'm still going to stop it. Doesn't matter how many times I get knocked down. Until I die, I will not stop trying to stop this. And then the top panel of 16, hard-ass fucking line.
Yeah.
I learned some things aboard that ship to never give up.
That was good.
Oh, and then Usopp shows up on the second horse in the One Piece universe.
Hold on. Hold on, Dylan.
What?
You'll get to it. Don't linger too much on it. You'll get to it. I promise. You might not remember now, but you'll remember in the moment.
Okay. But then I guess we're getting a flashback now. It's like, hey Usopp. So Eyelashes and Usopp are out cold. I guess I just love Usopp's kind of casual way after being woken up out of having his ass beat. He's like, oh, morning, Sanji. Here's my report on the battle with that jerk.
Yeah.
Our plan was to accept up to the point where we lured him into chasing us, and then he clobbered us in about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And I love that panel where they're both just like, yeah, we were a distraction. And Sanji's like, you should have held out longer. It's like, all right, Sanji. All right, dude. Come on now. He had a camel. And it's Usopp. And also, I love the little text at the very bottom, kind of in the corner. It's like, he clobbered us in about 2 seconds, 1 second each.
I noted that.
That's great. I love that. But what are you doing here, Sanji? And he's like, well, your ducks came calling for help. And it's just like, to me, it's just like, that... Why am I getting so hard of like Pokemon vibes from these goddamn ducks? It's like, oh, my trainer went down. I gotta go find him help. I'm pretty sure there's an episode or two in Pokemon where some shit like that goes down.
Oh, probably.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're back. And then it cuts back and it's like, oh, forget the bird. It's a goner. We have to stop this battle before it's too late. Vivi. Instantly being like, that bird. What the fuck? And then the flashback to, I guess, when they're fucking on Little Garden, where it's like, let's go, Karoo, quack! It's just like, what's the matter? Hop on quick. And it's just like, Usopp, how do I know you're really Usopp? Are you down to me? Look. Shows his arm. And he's got the bandage. And, like, I was talking shit on it really hard.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I was talking a lot of shit on
sure
it,
were.
but it now makes a lot of sense. And it's just like, it's not him. It's like, what the fuck? And then Karoo, he's still going. My boy. Back goes he's quack and just gets Vivi the fuck out of there. It's definitely Mr. 2. Damn. Okay, yeah. I remember now. Yeah, you're very right. Okay.
Yeah, and you were very wrong when you were criticizing their plan.
Well, because, like, my criticism was actually super fair, where I was like, that's really easy to replicate. Why would you do that? But as we see going forward, it's like, no, the armband was just to cover up the true marking of what identifies themselves. Okay. Yeah. Very cool. Still hate Mr. 2. What a creep. Freak. Ugh. That's all I got.
Wow.
He's done bad things, okay? He gaslit a whole country into fighting himself.
Yeah, he's fucking dangerous, let's be honest. Okay, 182. I think kind of from the get-go, when we first introduced the whole concept of Vivi meeting up with Koza, for some reason it got to me, like the idea of that reunion of those two kids that bonded really quickly over some traumatic events when they were children, and then being in a position where they have to confront each other as adults at a time where their country is in like absolutely dire circumstances is really getting to me. And from the very beginning of the chapter, I could feel emotions right off the bat at the anticipation of that reunion.
I know, you're wanting it so bad.
Exactly. And like, it had me on the edge of my seat. Like, Oda did a fantastic job with that. The shot of Koza in the middle of page 4 as he's holding or unsheathing his sword is very nicely drawn, where you don't really see much detail in his face, but you can see that he's angry and that he's determined. Just really good in terms of pure art. And then, yeah, I think I might have exclaimed a little, like, no, out loud at the sequence of events over pages 6 and 7 when someone fires a cannon just in front of Vivi to reduce the visibility. I was like, no. I think it's like edging. Like,
yeah.
I can't anymore. I can't do it. They need to see each other. I need that resolution. I need that to come to an end. Oh, because it's been so tense and so, I don't know, like, it's gonna be so good. It just isn't there yet. And of course it was a fucking Baroque Works guy, damn you. And then Dylan did talk about it. Like, my heart broke a little bit at the bottom of page 9 and the top of page 10 when we see Koza charging right past Vivi and her falling because of the rush of riders. I was like, no.
That gives, like, romance movies so hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Romantasy, I think, is the word it's using.
Yeah.
Where it's
That's
like,
true.
oh, they were in passing and their love just barely touched on the fringes.
Oh, the potential.
Okay.
The potential. Another good 2-page spread over pages 12 and 13 also with the cannons.
The battlescape.
Koza's face and Chaka's face, and then the wide shot of the rebels getting to the city. Just really good 2-page spread there. Karoo having shielded Vivi from the riders. I love Karoo so much, and my love for him only grows throughout this volume. And yeah, that panel of her, top of page 16, teary-eyed with the snot dripping down her nose as she says, I learned something aboard that ship to never give up. So good. And I like how Oda doesn't shy away from emotion, but even the, like, quote-unquote ugly elements of emotion, like someone having a runny nose. Like, he doesn't need to put it there, but it's true that if you're really emotional, you might have a runny nose, and it's not the most glamorous thing, but it's authentic. And I kind of appreciate that. You know, he took it to the point of caricature with, like, the Usopp pirate, the one panel that we always keep in mind with the Usopp pirate being disbanded.
How could I forget that panel?
Right. But this is kind of a little bit of a callback to that in terms of emotion and how we're seeing even the quote-unquote ugly sides of the emotion. I can't say that I'm surprised that Mr. 2 would have gotten the better of Usopp, but really, they should have given that more thought. We realize over the last 2 pages of the chapter that Mr. 2 copied Usopp's appearance and that he's the one that's gotten to Vivi to offer her a ride.
It'd be hilarious if he copied the camel's appearance.
Oh, that would be funny. And then, yeah, as Dylan pointed out, I had a little bit of a chuckle at the middle of page 17 where Usopp says, he clobbered us in about 2 seconds with the little 1 second each in the corner.
The self-satisfied shit.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny that that is him saying 1 second each kind of implies that Eyelashes and Usopp's fighting abilities are kind of similar.
They're on the same level, power scaling.
Right, exactly. So I was like, that's kind of funny. Kind of a burn for Usopp. And I was very happy that Vivi didn't fall for it, that she recognizes that this isn't Usopp. He would have never addressed Karoo as that bird and just saying he's a goner. He never would have. But the chapter does end in a cliffhanger and leaves us wondering how Vivi is going to handle that situation. And that's what I had for 182.
So the cover story, did you guys have any first thoughts on it? Do you remember what your first impression was on what the hell is happening there?
So throughout the rest of the intro image story, like, we will see that Hachi is kind of the central character in this one. But I can't recall exactly how we got there. Like, I remember Arlon Park ending, but I can't remember exactly what happened to Hachi that would get him in this situation anymore.
Okay.
Why are you... Michael is smiling, and now I'm scared.
No. Alright, so Karoo continues to impress. We got a nice Koza panel on page 4. The battle scenes are good. That was me just shuffling through the first part of this. So, getting to Karoo protecting Vivi. It's sweet. It's powerful. I think it lands, emotionally speaking. But he does get up and run away as if nothing happened. Maybe he wasn't as hurt as we saw, but they really put a lot of effort into showing him damaged, beaten. I know why it's happening. I'm not going to act like I don't understand the story beats behind it. But I just can't help but feel like there was another way of showing this that is equally heart-wrenching, but I don't know. I don't have an end point to that thought. I just have the thought floating out there in the ether. And then I want to give props to Eyelash and Usopp. Even though they got outclassed, what did anyone expect that Usopp paired with a camel would really be able to accomplish? Seemed like they were counting on him to fail, almost.
Yeah.
But, again, kudos for lasting 2 seconds. Honestly, clearly Mr. 2 is...
I know some guys that don't even last that long.
Oh my god. And then when he says that bird, when Mr. 2 as Usopp says that bird, it's like, are you even trying? Like, you're doing the appearance, but that's it. I do like, however, that the plan paid off. It was built up volumes ago. We're seeing it come together here. Dylan was like, that's stupid. It'll never work. And here it is. Egg all over his face.
Hey, all right, if it was just armbands, it wouldn't have worked. I'm still right. But there's more depth to it.
Yeah, I just had a little bit of a moment of realization of, like, a lot of the devil fruit powers would be OP if it wasn't for the flaws in character of the people who have them. And I feel like that's a really good example of that, because that ability of being able to basically clone anyone would be super OP if it was
we've
handled.
Seen that he can't stop being himself.
Right,
yeah, that's
exactly.
The issue is he doesn't do the background research to know the character.
And I'm kind of seeing that as a theme throughout now, and I feel like I just had this moment of like illumination live on air.
Well, that's actually, like, you bring that up, that's super interesting. It kind of like plays into why I like Smoker as much as I do, because of all the devil fruit users, he's like, besides Mihawk, he's like one of the few
Mihawk's not a devil fruit user that we've seen.
I assume World of the Sea, so I just kind of made a conclusion there. But it's like he's calm, cool, and collected, and level-headed. Like, he thinks out his actions. He doesn't just act. Whereas all the other devil fruit users just act. That's a very good point.
I think it does give you kind of a sense of protection, just the fact that you're a little bit better than Joe.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, Tom, Dick, or Joe.
But Smoker doesn't
Josephine.
let that cloud his judgment. He's like, no, I still have to, think carefully about what I'm going to do.
It reminds me of, like, a little bit of... and most polytheistic religions, but I'm thinking about Greek mythology in particular, and these gods having these, like, extreme powers, but they're deeply flawed. And they're not they're not perfect. They're not meant to be perfect. And I feel like that's similar with the devil fruit power users in that they have an advantage in some way, but because of their flaws of character, they're not indestructible. They're not unbeatable. Like there's some way, even though their powers might be a terrifying prospect, that you can actually get the better of them, not because of their lack of power, but because of their flaws as human beings.
Absolutely.
Anyway, sorry, that was my tangent.
No, good tangent. So overall, this chapter had a lot going on. I have my nitpicks, but I thought it was awesome. I really liked the plan kind of coming together and falling apart in some aspects. Again, Usopp and Eyelashes getting stomped. Where was the thought on that part of the plan? But we get some fun, cool, interesting, and beautiful moments. I'm thinking, Vivi and Karoo, especially. The payoff was really good to me. I like the way they're setting up the conflict to come. I like how everyone's kind of splitting off. It feels good. It feels right. It feels natural. And yeah, I really liked it. 183 is V.
Okay, yeah. So my very first notes for that chapter were, no, not Hachi. Take it away, please. I thought I was done looking at his goofy ass face. But no, he's
You like
back.
him, kinda.
Oh.
You think he's kinda hot.
No, wait, no.
He can make me laugh. That gets me going.
No.
Hot.
No. Don't put words in my mouth. He's freaky as heck. He's a nice guy. He's one of those nice guys, TM, like the kind that turns into an incel.
Wow. Okay, V. Damn. But also, again, look, six arms. Are you telling me you couldn't focus in on all the points of those arms?
It's not just
like
about
a Dr.
that.
Manhattan?
It's not about the arms, Dylan.
His haircut's kind of doofy as shit, I'll give you that.
I mean, he's not a looker.
But he's got a beautiful soul.
I don't know. We'll see. Why is Sanji being a dick to Zoro again at page 2? I mean, I know technically it's a flashback, but you know what I mean. Like I said previously, I know they have an ongoing rivalry of sorts, but this feels a little gratuitous and mean again. Zoro is a smart man, and he doesn't deserve that kind of treatment. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's gotten into Sanji lately with regards to Zoro, but he needs to get off his fucking horse, okay? He does.
Well, there's only 2 horses.
Right. Over the next few pages, starting at around like page 6 or 7, we see just how much of an MVP Karoo is. He's running to get Vivi away from danger despite his injuries, and then he fucking scales a wall, and then he flies. Also,
Flies, falls with style.
Those 2 panels at page 6, where you see him flap his wings before he grabs onto the ledge.
It's definitely fucking Wile E. Coyote coded as shit.
So yeah, the 2 panels at page 6 where Karoo flaps to the ledge, I thought was adorable. And then yeah, just the sequence of events that comes up next, just the look on my face over pages 8, 9, and 10 as we see Karoo getting shot and stumbling with blood coming from his gritted teeth before he crashes to the ground, Vivi shouting his name. My baby. What did you do to my boy? My boy. Oh. Anyway.
If there's going to be a fake out death, it better be this one.
Yeah.
Karoo.
The one everyone's asking for. I mean, he's clearly still alive.
Yeah, he is. And then, yeah, so...
I like that.
Yeah, the squadron comes to the rescue. I like the panel at the top of page 12 where you see them charging at Mr. 2. I thought that was really satisfying. And they look so pleased with themselves at the bottom of the page when they're looking over at Vivi and Karoo. And when they do, like, the salute mid-page 13. That was... I don't know.
These fucking birds can throw some fucking hands, though.
Absolutely.
They're super.
Oh, yeah. Don't fuck with them.
The guy wearing the Duck Doro was getting the face kicking on Mr. 2. I guess it's more of a cowboy hat, but...
I'm still getting Darkwing Duck from that guy.
Oh, for sure. But, like, way cooler because he doesn't talk.
Right.
I like Darkwing Duck.
We see another glimpse of Sanji kind of being a badass at the bottom of page 13. The pose is really good, and I don't know, it's like I can almost hear him say I'll deal with the swan, and in my head
You still seem a little bitter.
He sounds... I mean, I am.
He was kind of being a bitch.
He was being... I didn't care for his attitude, okay? He needs a little bit of an attitude check, but when he shows up, he shows up. It's just... He also needs to be held accountable for his behavior, and that's why I'm thinking that they need a psychologist on board, okay? They need someone to do some conflict resolution with
the ship,
with the
ship therapist.
That's me. Hire me, please.
You'd be like, Zoro, no, you did nothing wrong.
Would it be a conflict of interest if I slept with my clients?
Yeah, it's like, I know I'm HR, but Zolo, if you wanted to sexually harass me, I'd be okay with it.
It wouldn't be harassment if I consent. Anyway, but Sanji still looks like a badass in that moment, and I had to say something. I had to admit it, even though, like I said, I didn't care for his attitude previously in this volume. Speaking of good panels, the top panel of page 15, where Sanji and Mr. Two's kicks are meeting, I thought was a really good panel, good show in perspective, seeing it kind of from below. That was pretty good. And then it's followed by a really good panel of Sanji. He has pride written all over his face as he says, "I'm Sanji, a top flight sea cook." Like, I hate to say it, but yes, king. Like, that was a king moment. That was a king moment from Sanji. Just a top flight sea cook. Yeah, top of page 16. So good. We get a little bit of a lore dump at the bottom of page 18 as Chopper explains that Miss Merry Christmas has the Diggy Diggy fruit powers, and that she's a human mole, and that Mr. Four is a cleanup hitter, and that he has a dog.
Oh, we're going to get into that.
Okay, yes, we are going to get into the... As someone who knows nothing about sports, at first I was like, what's a cleanup hitter? I figured, and my note says, so I'm guessing the part about Mr. Four being a cleanup hitter is related to batting explosive balls at people.
It's a baseball term, yeah.
Right, that's what I'm gathering. I did like the last entry of the SBS, where Oda explains that the crocus flower signifies trust, which makes sense considering that Crocus, the character, was Laboon's caretaker, and that Laboon trusted him.
Oh, and he is a flower. Oh, shit.
Yeah,
okay,
Crocus says the flower. Yeah. It's all coming together. But yeah, that's what I had for 183.
Yes, indeedy. Unlike V being shallow and judging him purely based on his physical appearance. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Doesn't he freak you out, though? Please.
Felt a little harsh at first, but I get it. She is a little shallow.
Just in this instance. If she was shallow, she wouldn't hang out with us.
He's just unsettling.
But it's just like, he's whimsical as fuck.
Okay,
I'm using whimsical a lot.
We're pulling out whimsical again.
Whimsical is my dynamic, so y'all shut up.
Okay.
Here he goes. He's getting offended.
You can no. Yeah, it's okay. You can keep your whimsical if we can keep our dynamic. I'm fine with that.
I mean, even if I don't want you to keep it, you're going to keep it. Although, good job on you guys. I haven't heard it yet.
Do I have it coming up?
So I feel called out. Now I'm going to start using it a lot. But, him under the water with all the sea creatures, like, again, this dude's a vibe. Like, I would definitely, like, let him chillaxing under the water with all the sea creatures. Be like, what's up, homie? What's good? How's your mom doing?
Yeah, it's like he knows, those are his friends. He's like, yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, yo, Eel, what's good?
What's good, dude?
Marcus, long time no see. When did you get out of prison?
Your GED. How'd that turn out for you, buddy?
I'm surfing on my own waves now.
Yeah. The only thing steering my rudder is vibes, my guy.
Like the turtles and Finding Nemo?
Yeah. Exactly. I was going to say, like, Hachi would totally be like, if Finding Nemo never had the Barracuda incident, Hachi would just be like, oh, dude, we're all just chilling. We're just having a good time out in the reef, dude.
What's the Barracuda incident?
The Barracuda eats all the eggs, and Nemo's the only egg left, and the mom's dead.
Yeah, that's why he has a little fin and a big fin. Because his egg was damaged.
God, what is up with Disney being like, oh, look at all this whimsical, like, super dark and depressing shit?
You have daddy issues. You have mommy issues.
It's like, Up. It's like, oh my god, they fell in love since childhood. She's dead.
I know.
It's like, oh fuck, and now he's all ornery and shit because he's sad his wife is gone.
Maybe we need to do a pod for Disney edition.
Let's not. I don't want to tap into that fan base. Unless it's Star Wars movies.
Michael's like, wait a second, I am a Disney adult.
I was trying to avoid that. I love Disney, but I don't make it my personality.
Yeah, it's like, I like Disney, but I am not a Disney adult. I'm not going to fucking drop kick a kid to get a signature from Goofy at the park.
Well,
from Goofy, who's just some fucking 18-year-old.
Yeah.
I would do it for like a Gaston signature.
Oh my god. You're a Disney adult, not me.
You'd be the one to try to like touch his pecs and you'd be like, stop!
You're not allowed to do that!
You're not allowed to grow up the characters. But hey, like, I get off at 8.
Reputation.
What's good?
She works in HR, people.
Yeah, it's
she
like,
works in HR.
I'll keep the costume on, but while we're on the clock, you can't be doing that. But
anyway.
Yeah, anyways, alright, yeah. And then we get, this is the egg on face page for me, where I dog shitted on the bandages so much, and then you see, okay, hey, we put an X on our arms. It's not just the bandage. We'll take the bandage off to let everybody know that we are who we are. And then Sanji, of course, Sanji's been kind of, like, when it comes to crew life interactions, he's kind of been like a little sassy little bitch this whole volume. Because it's like a double bluff, very clever. Too clever for the likes of you. Maybe you're the Swan Man.
Who pissed in his fucking cereal, honestly?
He's the cook. He did.
Yeah, did.
He's like, oh, fuck, I pissed in Zolo's cereal, but got it all mixed up, and I ate my own piss, and I'm really mad about it.
he is being a little bitch, because again, I said it when I spoke to it, Zoro doesn't deserve that.
Well, it's like, this is a big flashback.
One does.
This is a big flashback, so, like, I think this is more just, like, kind of their energy with each other. They're big rivals, so they just kind of, like, snidely talk shit on each other.
Yeah, but that's more at this point rivalry, you know what I mean?
Well, no, I think we all kind of give each other that level of shit.
No, if one of you guys talked to me like that, I would be
in tears, probably.
Yes.
But I'm thinking back to when this moment actually happened. There wasn't a background of an animosity behind it. Because the animosity we're seeing on the crab, the animosity we saw on the crab was like very stressful interaction. Where this is just like they're vibing on the ship, so he's being a little bit. I take this more. He's being a little bit of a smartass because that's just how he is with Zolo.
I don't know. I feel like there's still a little bit of venom in the way that he says it.
I'm not denying it. There definitely is, but I think it is because it's like because of the rivalry. It's like I'm going to say this shit because I want to be better than you, so I'm going to talk a little shit and vent a little bit of that frustration. But I love that. So maybe you're the Swan Man. It's like, I'll kill you. And then like Usopp and Luffy are like, yeah, that's totally Zolo. Yeah, that's not the Swan guy. That's totally him. That's him. And that's a flashback. So I give him a pass on this because this is a big flashback. So this is more just like him, like just dog shitting on each other for fun. Whereas on the crab, it's like everybody's stressed out and he's kind of being just an asshole. And then like you said, fucking Karoo just like being a champ. And then I also love Karoo understanding the whole scenario, seeing the big picture when Vivi's like, it's like, no, Karoo, he'll overtake us on the steps. Let me off. I'll fight him. And Karoo's like, bitch, come on now. Like, no, the fuck you won't. Check this shit out. I'm about to run up a cliff face. It's like I love you, but no, the fuck you won't. I've seen you try and fight. It didn't work. And again, the super wily coyote fucking coated, just flapping around, trying to get to the edge. It gets shot. My question is, who shot him?
It looks. All we see is the top of the musket.
Yeah, we just see the pistol or a musket. You can't tell; it's just the tip. Because
it's a big battle.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think it's just an errant shot.
It could have been crossfire, but I do feel like because there's emphasis put on the tip of the weapon, it feels like maybe we should know who it is. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it is just.
Well, because I was trying to think, it's like your natural assumption would be like, it's Mr. 2. It's like I've never seen Mr. 2 have a weapon.
It's definitely
ever.
not.
Yeah.
It's definitely not him, I don't think. It might be a Baroque's Works member undercover, but we wouldn't even know.
But I like the idea that it's just an errant shot, that it's just a chaotic battlefield and he just catches a stray, which really kind of builds the scene even more. And like takes a shot and like is getting ready to go down, but still keeps on his feet. Gets a couple more feet before he collapses, and like that bottom panel of 10, bottom right panel of just him with the super wide eye. Like this is gonna be kind of dark.
Toke.
But it reminds me a lot is my little brother's dog has recently passed away. It had cancer. But that look is kind of like the look of I don't know what's going on and I'm fucking scared.
Don't make me cry.
And,
Don't make me cry, Dylan.
You're killing me.
And it's like just seeing that, it just brings up those emotions. Like,
no, I don't want to cry for this on the podcast.
And I will say it fucked me up pretty good because my dog is older than my brother's dog, and seeing that was just like, fuck. Yeah.
Listen, it's been like 7 years since my puppy passed away, and I still think about her and cry about her sometimes because I was there when she died, and it was like fucking traumatizing, but I still wouldn't have it any other way. But we can move on. Yeah. Jesus.
But yeah,
too sad. I'll keep it in, but too sad.
But that panel definitely shows that it's like I'm in a lot of pain. I don't know what's going on, and I'm scared. That very much personifies that to a T. Which again, Oda, my God. Jesus Christ, dude! You know how to say fucking volumes on volumes of shit with a singular panel. Hats off to you.
I wasn't ready for that, Dylan.
Sorry. It's still something. I'm like, I mean, I feel bad for my brother because I know he's taking it pretty hard. But,
I mean, it's hard. You know, pets are.
But it's a
family member.
It's hard to get your head around because it was a really swift decline too. It's like, oh, he's not eating, and then within like a week was like completely withered away, couldn't walk upstairs, couldn't get up.
Oh my God, Dylan.
Okay.
My heart goes out to you and yours, but you're killing me right now.
Anyways. Alright, the cool ducks come in and fight the stupid swan guy. Badass. Yeah, badass. Like the headbutt one, I like the stupid headbutt guy. Is like, the reason I only hear static is because I attack with my head. That motherfucker's got that motherfucker got CTE. No, that's Dan Morgan.
No one's getting that reference.
Hey, Panthers fan, you know what I'm talking about. Dude always tackle with his head, and that motherfucker got shaky ass hands. But that duck's gonna get CTE for sure.
Lighten it up a little bit.
Sorry.
Just a little bit.
Sorry. But yeah, they come in. I love that, and of course Sanj is showing up, and so the rebel horde can still be stopped, right? VV, well done, Squadron Leader Karu. You're a real man. Quack. Yay, he's still alive. Yay, he can make a recovery. And then Sanji, and I love how Sanji's like to the other ducks, it's like, you two are dismissed. And they're just like, yes, boss, fuck yeah, let's go. I'll deal with the swan. And it's just the way his hands are displayed, it's just like, for some reason, like I immediately like just instantly thought, oh, he's slipping on some brass knuckles. He's not. But it's just the way the hands are played out, it just kind of gives that kind of vibe, even though he never
long fingies.
He never fights with his hands. And then I like Vivi's kind of like, hey, no, I'm fine. Like, because the two ducks come up, they're like, oh, what do we do? Vivi, you good? And they're like, no, get Karu out of here. Like, I'm good. And then Sanji's just like, go, get the fuck out of here. And Vivi's like, super resolved nod. Oh, and then the bottom panel, why you? This ain't no joke. Die. And Sanji's cold ass line. First things first, you have our sniper's goggles. And then thwack, give them back.
Did I even... I don't know if I noticed them before he said anything, but yeah, they're definitely there. He's hanging on to Usopp's shit.
Oh, he's just got him on his head, yeah. And then the line, you won't have such an easy time with me, so you're one of the Straw Hats. You must be the infamous Mr. Prince I've been hearing about. No. I'm Sanji. Which that at first like kind of threw me off, because I took it as like, oh, you're one of the Straw Hats. And he was like, no. And I was like, wait, what? Well, no, he's saying no to the Mr. Prince, yeah.
Right.
And then it's like, that fight's been set up. It's like, ooh. And again, like, another Ip Man tie out, because, like, Mr. Two's always been like, oh, you gotta deal with my swan karate. And, like, Ip Man was like, he's fighting off, like, the big scene in that movie. He fights 10 Japanese karate, like, masters, and just whole-handedly beats the anyway, watch the movie. It's great. But then we cut back to Chopper, and Usopp's showed up to help him out. And then we get the realization, it's like, oh, we got another fucking freak animal person deal. Where she's a mole.
Dylan, you're harsh sometimes.
I don't like it. I didn't like her before, then she turned into a mole, and it's like, ugh, you're extremely gross. First, her personality was just really, really ugly. Now you're just kind of matching the outside with what's on the inside. And it's the other one is Mr. Four. He is a cleanup hitter, and he has a dog that works with him, which, oh my God, when we get to that, I got some words.
Oh, yeah.
But it's,
the gun dog?
Yeah.
The gun dog.
Yeah, we're going to get to that.
Yeah, we're
going to get to that. And it's like, wait, what are you talking about? And he's like, get down. And then you see just like Mr. Four just pop out of the hole in the ground and smack a ball towards him. Great ending. It kind of just like, that's a good way. It's like, end the chapter with a cliffhanger, but like, in a way to where it shows like, oh, now you kind of get his capabilities and what they're up against. All right, guess we'll find out in the next chapter.
Yeah.
But that's all I got. And again, sorry, but, you know.
Don't apologize. I'm leaving it all in because I thought it was kind of hilarious in a very sad way.
You can even call it hilarious. I think it's a good humanizing moment. But
Yeah, it was funny in this fact it's like, what the fuck?
Whereas before it was so whimsical. I got really sad.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this should be quick. The plan. Loved seeing the kind of callback to it. We got to see that, maybe the plan wasn't all so stupid and pointless. Karoo is hurt, but yeah, he's able to run up a side of a sheer cliff. Again, suspending disbelief. Karoo seems very extraordinary throughout these past couple chapters, but I like it. I like Karoo. I'm glad they gave him such a starring role. Happy to see it overall. And then Vivi landing at the top of the cliff. She is, like, you see the look on her face at the bottom of 7. She is seeing the violence that is happening firsthand. She has not prevented death. Like Luffy said, you're naive to think that you can. Yeah. And this just proves it. She is seeing that she was wrong. And that her ultimate goal was misguided, but she clearly is going to do the best she can. And at first, when the bullet rang, because I did not remember this. I did not remember this at all. I was like, please don't do this to Karoo. And by do this, I was like, fake out death. But, and we've seen this before in the previous chapter, that Karoo is not being faked out. He is being injured severely. But, again, this is kind of what I've called to in the past. There is a way to do this where you don't have to fake out a death or anything. You can make them
for
hurt.
it to be meaningful.
Yeah, exactly. No one has to die for this to be meaningful. No one has to die. I'm using air quotes here. But, yeah. I also really like Karoo flying. I thought that was really inspirational. Made me feel like I could do anything if I put my mind to it. And then Sanji stepping in at the end was so good. It wasn't as good as his Mr. Prince from the previous volume, but this was good.
It was still a good moment.
Yeah. It's king shit.
Yeah.
And he had some good dialogue. He's just like, I'll deal with the swan, as he's just like flexing his hands. I don't know. He's not going to use them. Yeah, I really like that. And then I really like the setup here for Chopper and Usopp. I think that's a great pairing. I think we've said that they are presumably the two weakest of the group. And I never really saw much in Mr. Four and Miss Merry Christmas, and I like where this is going. I will continue to like where it goes. Spoiler alert. I'm going to be really pro this fight, even though it's a little silly, a little goofy. But, one last thing. When Usopp's like, I don't get what you're talking about, Chopper's not doing a good job of bringing Usopp up to speed. He's giving him very vague snippets and ideas of what the hell is happening, and Usopp's just like, what do you mean? I thought that was funny. But yeah, I thought this was another banger. Small nitpick with Karoo being able to continue through everything. And again, I say small because he was never hinted at being completely out or dead or anything. I was with that. I loved it as I look past that small flaw. Lots of emotion and a great build up to the fight to come. And that's what I had for 183. 184 will be Dylan.
Yes, all right, 184. Oh, Hachi's helping out the little panda shark who got his nose hurt with a hook. V doesn't like him. Look at that. You kidding me? That kind of sets the scene for us. It's like, all right, this is where we're at. We're at the Southeast Gate. It's Mr. Four and Miss Merry Christmas versus Usopp and Chopper.
I like the titles there.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that plays out in the anime. Because in the anime, I feel like I could just imagine the announcer voice. And I like the bottom panel where it's like, yeah, that was close. Thanks for saving me. What the heck was that anyway? Like I said, Mr. Four is a cleanup hitter with a dog. And like I said, I don't understand what that means.
Also, Dylan, to expand, the cleanup hitter is usually the fourth person in the batting lineup. Hopefully the first three put someone on the bases.
And he's meant to get the scores.
Yeah.
And then we see Lasso. Mr. Four's favorite gun has a slight cold. The only thing I can think when I see this thing is that in the back of its mind, it's like, please kill me. Please kill me.
I am neither a dog
I
nor a
can't live
gun.
like this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm an abomination. Please end me.
And it's like, it's funny, it sneezes out a baseball, although the panel of the dog sneezing in a baseball flying, adorable as shit. Love that. Seeing it as a whole ass gun. A little sneeze, a little pupper.
Oh, I know. He's just a little guy
white
who's still
nose.
cold.
And Usopp's like, wait, what the fuck? And then fucking I love Chopper's like, it's coming, as he's like already off panel, running away from it. And then Mr. Four says, excuse me, motherfucker, that's golf.
That's Fore. I don't know, maybe.
Four? No, whatever. And then I like the bottom panel of like the bat hitting the ball. It just kind of gives you, it shows a lot of the force behind it.
It's well drawn, yeah.
Whereas like the ball's kind of like bending over the bat before it rebounds. And that shit's right in fucking Usopp's fucking face. And the shit blows up over his head. Airburst munitions. You know, Chopper's kind of a little tactically minded as well. He's already figured out, he's like, alright, they're time bombs, they explode even if they don't hit you. They set them to go off when they reach us. So, like, there's a time. So it's like, if you can, dodge a couple shots, you might be able to figure out that fuse time and use that to your advantage. And then Chopper's kind of a badass with this, but since they won't explode until the timer goes off, I thought about catching them and throwing them back. But they're not easy to catch, so they're as heavy as cannonballs.
Yeah, I have some notes on Chopper's involvement. It's nice to see him kind of grow into who he is
But it seemed like in a combat role.
Like, yeah, like it's nice. Yeah.
But then, like, he's talking about the strength of him, and then you kind of get to see a little bit of it personified when he lays the bat against the wall, and the wall just crumbles to pieces. And then Usopp's fucking face at the top of fucking 7.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking Usopp's face.
Usopp's face, what I've determined for so far, is like anytime there's a need of comedic relief, you just throw in Usopp's face somewhere.
It's so good for very intense, silly emotion. And that's a good example of that. Anyway.
And the Miss Christmas, this fucking bitch.
Yeah, she's so mean to Mr. Four.
Yeah.
What a fucking C-word.
And then, she's a mole. The mole woman. I haven't even transformed yet. Well, you're still a mole woman. Shut up. And then his name is Lasso. He ate the mut-mut fruit. How does a gun eat something?
And see, that is...
Okay, like, I don't... don't like that.
They
That's
get
dumb,
into that. Right, inanimate objects, they get into that. It's fucking ridiculous.
It's the latest technology on the Grand Line. Even inanimate objects can eat devil fruits. Like, to me, that's like the immense amount of like crossbreeding and shit that in genetic modifications that brought about the
As we were saying, that isn't an abomination. That's
like the
exactly
abomination
it.
of pugs. It's like, this is what happens when you play God. It's like these dogs, these pugs, these dogs, they have sleep apnea and they're awake.
No one man should have all that power.
And then Usopp's kind of hitting on the notes that I have. It's like, that's ridiculous. If it was originally a gun, why is it moving?
I know.
Devil fruits don't have minds of their own. And then, of course, it's like, oh, shut up, you're as good as dead. Why should I explain anything to you? It's like, God damn it, Oda. This is your chance to make it make fucking sense. This is so dumb.
First of all, he's allowed, though. Yeah, he's like, fuck that.
It is what it is.
Those nerds can try to figure it out by themselves.
I do like the fact that Mr. Four is very nice to his dog gun. I think the dog gun idea is really dumb.
Yes.
I don't like that. Because if that's the case, let's get some devil fruit and feed it to Zolo's swords. Okay, yeah.
Well,
and have him be an unstoppable killing machine.
You gotta find them first.
They're not as hard to find as originally thought.
Listen, there's 2 million people in that rebel army. How many of them do you think had devil fruits?
Yeah, but there's also, 10 people in the Baroque works, and all of them have devil fruit powers.
Yeah, they were recruited for their powers.
Are you guys fighting again?
Yes.
Okay.
And then...
Are you guys getting a divorce?
Yep. And it's all your fault.
What? Wait, this fictional scenario hurt my feelings.
Oh, God.
But top of 10, enjoy your stay at Mole Town Block 4. Oh my God, she's turning into a mole woman. A penguin? What the fuck? Usopp, you just said she's turning into a mole. Why do you think she's a penguin?
A mole.
Although it does kind of seem like Danny DeVito penguin-esque kind of vibe.
Yeah,
it's
a little
the
bit.
Nose. The nose thing and the little chubby arms.
It's the body
It's everything.
type.
It's everything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God, she went underground. And then we get the whack-a-mole scenario of her power. And then we got the little doggo gun, saying bow and shooting a ball. And apparently you can shoot curveballs. Because, yeah, that's the thing. That's how rifling works in a gun. You can curve bullets. Yeah, one, it's a real movie. Fucking goddamn it. Now, if it was a tow missile, yes, you could, because that's fly-by-wire. You can aim those things. But anyways. But, now that we get to see how, the two of them combine their powers together to work it out, it's very interesting to see. And it's cool that Mr. 4 himself doesn't seem to have devil fruit powers. It's just this gun does.
Right.
What's better than having devil fruit powers? Having a dog
gun.
Having
powers.
a dog gun or a gun dog. Dylan, I would think that would be right up your alley.
Right.
I would not fucking turn a gun into a dog. I would not do that. That's cruel and unusual.
Disrespectful to the gun.
Disrespectful to dogs.
I know, it's just funny because he loves both of those things individually.
Well, I don't want to just give
but
an inanimate...
not together.
I don't want to give an inanimate object sentience and be like, alright, figure it the fuck out. Because you're like, what the fuck? It's like the whole
So you mean thing. Like Dr. Frankenstein?
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole concept of in that Rick and Morty bit where it's like, what is my purpose? To pass the butter.
Yeah.
I'm a pickle.
To pass the butter, yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Welcome to existence. Yeah, no, that's fucked. Do not agree with that. There is a lot of moral
Well, now I have little electric salt and pepper grinders that they're battery operated, and now I wonder if they're sentient.
They probably are.
Time to start drowning all my electronics. I like it. The fly ball happens. Usopp starts talking shit. I can dodge these with my eyes closed. And then not Usopp, but Chopper's definitely paying attention. He's like, he put up, which I don't know how you do with a baseball. I get how you do it with ping pong and tennis rackets. I don't know how you put a backspin on a baseball. But he does, and it bounces back up at him.
Ping pong and tennis rackets, for some reason, reminded me of some obscure 90s emo band name. I feel like it would be a good...
I don't get it.
I don't know, it feels like it would be some sort of...
Yeah, ping pong balls
band.
And tennis rackets? Yeah, I can see that
being right?
an emo song.
Okay, thanks. Panic at the Disco?
Yeah, and then...
That was 2000s.
Just more obscure. You know what, Michael? Suck my ass.
Chopper comes in, saves the day, grabs him by the scruff of his overalls. And Chopper's pretty much at this point, it's like, no, just move. 15 and 16. Chopper's like, fuck it. It's like, if I could just... He's like, I'm going to rush you if I can get to you and knock you out, then the problem is taken care of. And then he gets tripped up by a mole lady. She's like, hold on, this game's no fun without a batter. Mr. Force smacks it. It's going right for his face. And Usopp's like, he's doomed. And then Chopper just transformed back to his little kawaii form. And he's like, oh yeah, I could do that. And just shrinks down to dodge the hit.
He's so cute there.
I fucking love him. Actually, you know what? I was going to say I'm not saying I would die for Chopper, but actually I think I am saying I would die for Chopper.
I would die for Chopper.
And I love how, in his small form, he takes a swing at the mole lady. He's like, you bitch! And then just upsizes to take on Mr. 4. And he says, and curse you, Daruma doll.
I know what Dromedars are vaguely, but I don't...
I don't know what
Aren't they the little, like they're little red dolls?
Yeah.
Isn't there a Pokemon based after them?
Yeah, Darumaka.
Right. The little red thingies with the faces. And I'm struggling to find words to describe them more accurately, but...
Yeah,
oh, okay. I know those are considered, now that I see a picture of it, it's considered...
Like a good luck charm or something.
Is it good luck? I thought it was like a demonic thing. Once it cracks, it's kind of like Pandora's box kind of deal. And a lot of bad shit
I hope
happens.
not.
Just real quick, Wikipedia says Daruma dolls are seen as a symbol of perseverance and good luck.
Never mind.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
And then I love this. Where'd he go? Where's the long-nosed one? And then Usopp's, you guys aren't the only ones who can use these underground tunnels, you know. And then Usopp slams down with a 5-ton hammer. Air quotes. 5-ton. But he bonks the shit out of Mr. 4. I've sunk countless numbers of warships. People call me the Destroyer King. And I think he's twirling around the 5-ton hammer, being like a cocksure show off. And he's like, I am. And fucking Chopper's like, oh my god, he's so cool. Captain Usopp. You're not the captain. Shut the fuck up. But, fun way to end the chapter. So, that's all I got.
Okay, 184. Yeah, so I guess we're now committed to doing Hachi's adventures for the intro image story. Okay. For how freaky he looks, he actually seems like he has a good heart.
He's got the vibes.
I got some soft boy vibes from him back in Arlong Park with how friendly he was to Zoro, more specifically, and that seems to be coming back. You know, he's being friendly and kind to that panda shark, and you know, getting the hook out of its snoot. Like, I just need to get over his appearance, because I feel like as far as his personality goes, I do think I like him, but I'm not hurrying into this new appreciation of this character.
He's like noticing. A brother to me.
Friend zone. Oh, if I were to friend zone anyone, it would be Hachi. Anyway, I like seeing, and you guys noted that when you went through it, Dylan, I like seeing Mr. Four and Miss Merry Christmas versus Usopp and Chopper at the top of page 2. It's giving like official fight / like Mortal Kombat's like UFC title card. Like, it does a good job on clarifying the people who are involved in the confrontation, and This is what we're doing. Like, I like that, and I hope that is something that persists with the other fights that we're going to be getting throughout the next couple of, or at least throughout the next volume. At the bottom of page 3, we're introduced to Lasso, which is apparently both a dog and a gun. And my notes say, sounds like Dylan's dream companion, to be honest.
No, I would prefer a dog with a gun.
Right? Or like one of those hunter dogs. They can go hunting and then he goes and retrieves whatever you shoot down. And yeah, I like that Oda took the time to say has a slight cold. It does end up being relevant, but I thought that was cute. I know he's a gun, but I still want to scritch his snoot a little bit. I still want to give him kisses. And yeah, stating that Lasso has a cold makes sense now that we know that he sneezes explosive baseballs. In retrospect, 1 + 1, you know. Mid-page 6. I love getting some more insight on Chopper as a fighter. As I was pointing out when Dylan kind of went through it, he's a smart boy. Like, he's actually putting some thought behind this, and he's strategic, and it's nice to get to know him in that way, because so far we have seen him being more emotional. We have seen him kind of be ripped out of his old environment and being thrown into with the Straw Hats. But I feel like this is him starting to shine. This is the glimmer of who I think he's going to end up being as a fighter and as a more strategic member of the Straw Hats. Like, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far of Chopper. I know Dylan likes to shit on Chopper being a crybaby, but at least...
He hasn't shit on him this volume.
No, that's true. That's true. Historically. But at least he isn't a giant fucking wuss like Usopp, if I'm being honest.
Usopp might be a pussy, but he doesn't cry like a little bitch.
I still think that Chopper has the biggest set of cojones. That's all I'm gonna say.
You bring all this up, and like this fight especially kind of makes me think Chopper and Usopp are actually a really good team up pair.
I would agree.
Because Chopper's got the ability to do that sight thing where he could see weaknesses and then tell Usopp, and Usopp can pick at those weaknesses from a distance.
I think they can make really, really good. They can make a really, really good duo, for sure.
Yeah, like Chopper's the spotter, whereas Usopp's the actual sniper.
But I still think that Chopper has more courage than Usopp does at this juncture in the story. If we're talking about just courage, I think Chopper is more courageous. He's more emotional, sure, but he's more courageous than Usopp is, in my humble
Chopper,
opinion.
It takes a lot less to push him to the point where he's going to stand his ground, whereas Usopp takes a shitload. To where it's like, no, I need to dig my heels and deal with this.
Yeah. I was confused at this when Miss Merry Christmas explains that Lasso ate the mut fruit, because I was like, so a gun ate a devil fruit? But then it's really quickly followed by her saying at the top of page 9 that on the Grand Line, even inanimate objects can eat devil fruits, which, as Usopp states, is fucking ridiculous.
Nonsense.
But this is One Piece, and stranger things have happened and will happen, I'm sure. It's just like... So a gun? What? And I like how unapologetic Oda was in that moment of making the decision to have it not make sense.
Unapologetic is such a good way to explain it.
He's like, I have this idea in my head and I'm going to put it on paper and I'm going to give some bullshit explanation for it and no one can question.
Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. And I can admire that as a statement because so far I feel like Oda has done a really good job at being cohesive and making sense, despite the whimsy of the story that we're in. But in that case, he's like, fuck that. I want this, and I'm just going to do it. And you're just going to take whatever explanation I give you, honestly. So I respect that. I have to say, I thought Chopper freaked me out in his half-human, half-deer form. Miss Merry Christmas takes the fucking cake. Like, the shot of her mid page 10, where you see her, like, full body and her, like, half-mole form is terrifying. Yeah, the next few pages are a lot of action as Mr. Four swings away. Chopper and Usopp try to dodge the balls, but through this, and as I was saying earlier, we get to see Chopper in action. And so far, like I said, I enjoy what I'm seeing. He's not a powerhouse exactly, but he's agile, he's strategic, and he's brave. And I feel like that's something to be commended because I think I heard that from my therapist not too long ago. The bravery isn't not being scared. Bravery is doing something
Acting
even if you're scared of it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I feel like Chopper
Game of Thrones.
Chopper has that in spades, in that bravery is doing something even though you're scared of it.
So how can we be brave when we're afraid? That's the only time you can be brave.
Exactly. So kudos to Chopper for being a brave boy. I did love the bottom corner panel of him trying to punch Miss Merry Christmas in the face, saying, "Curse you, mole lady!" Like, for some reason that was really funny to me. That's at the bottom of page 16 when he's back to his tiny form. He's like, just his little hoof right in her face. I thought that was really cute. But, you know, when it comes down to it, Usopp can show up. And Usopp did show the fuck up. Like, it takes him a minute to get over his fear, but from the bottom of page 17 to the end of the chapter, he is here, and he's not messing around. You know, I know that, you know, it's the super heavy hammer in air quotes.
Massive quotations.
But he's still showing up. He's still doing the action, even though it's not actually effective. It's more of a deceptive method than anything else, but I did appreciate that coming from him. The mid-page 18 panel of him with the huge hammer striking with an Usopp pound was a really good panel. Like, it's not actually 5 tons, but I did like kind of seeing Usopp shine in that moment. And of course, we end on him saying, "I am Captain Usopp," with nice panel of him looking ready. He's not a captain, but for a second there, I believe that he thinks that he is.
Hell yeah.
And sometimes that's all he needs, is to have that little boost in self-confidence.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, and that's what I had for 184.
All right. I also liked the first panels. I think I kind of commented on this during Dylan's bit, but I really like seeing it kind of just framed. Like, matchups are happening.
Yeah.
It's a trope. It happens in anime. It happens in manga. All that. It happens even in Western media. But I just really liked it framed that way. I don't know. It was just like, this is it. Baroque Works is fighting the Straw Hats. We're here. When this is the second time he said it, but Usopp's just like, I don't know what that means. Like, Chopper's trying to explain this absolute nonsense scenario to him, and I actually felt Usopp in that moment. Like, please, what do you mean?
Please explain it to me.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but in my mind, one of your catchphrases is, "What do you mean?" I don't know. I hear you say it a lot, and
I do say it a lot. What do you mean?
Yeah, I love it.
True.
I love it.
That's true. I haven't
never stop saying it.
Okay, I hadn't realized that, but it's true. I do say that a lot.
Yeah, I think you. I hate that I'm pointing it out because then it becomes, part of your psyche. But it's so funny.
I'll drink enough wine to forget it.
Yeah. All right. Hell yeah. It usually happens on the fly when something nonsensical is going on or something that is just off the cuff happens.
Yeah.
But at this moment, what do you mean? There's a dog that's a gun, and the guy is a pinch hitter or a cleanup hitter, and she's a mole. What do you mean? This whole fight exemplifies what do you mean?
What do you mean?
I don't understand.
It confuses and upsets me.
And nothing exemplifies that more than Miss Merry Christmas being like, it's the latest technology. We fed a gun of fruit. What do you mean? Don't worry about it.
The more I think about it, the more fucking ridiculous it is.
It's so nonsense. I
can't stop laughing.
This might not come as a huge surprise, or maybe it will. I don't know at what point you're listening, but I'm a huge sports fan. V knows it. Dylan knows it.
Yeah.
And I love the batting thing that's going on here with the dog. Like, the dog is a batting machine, and bro is just a fucking monster at bat. He's just a hitter. He's a slugger.
It brings in some good action, like in terms of action through movement. Like, I don't know, I get it. Like, it's a cool concept. It's a cool idea.
Yeah, absolutely. This has to be the goofiest fight we've seen.
So goofy.
In this manga, but maybe in my entire life. I don't know.
But he makes it
Whack-a-mole,
work,
the One
and
Piece fight saga.
That's what fucks with me, is that he makes it work.
So I put this in my summary notes, but this is absolutely a Mario Party minigame turned into a fight.
Or freaking WarioWare, one of those like super.
Can we get a One Piece themed WarioWare, please?
There is a One Piece Mario Party, but if I'm not mistaken, listeners correct me if I'm wrong, but it has not been translated to English.
I still play it.
One more reason to get to start practicing Japanese on Duolingo.
Hey, yeah.
Konnichiwa.
But I wrote, gun ate a fruit. Picasso. I like it. Miss Merry Christmas says, Mole Town Block 4. What does that mean? What does it mean? Block 4? Is this a prison? It feels like a prison thing to say, but I guess people live in blocks too. But this is the ultimate game of whack-a-mole. The stakes have never been higher while playing whack-a-mole. And I like this. I think it is nonsense. I think it is goofy. I think it maybe borderlines doesn't make any sense at all. It might not even be reality. I don't know. I do not know how to take this, but it's fun. It's whimsical, exciting. The baseball puns are... They're kind of corny, and it's funny to me that Japan is so big on American sport. Baseball is absolutely an American sport. And then, yes, the ending. Usopp brings the hammer out. It's been a minute since we've seen him do something this big, and he does it in such a grand way, and it isn't what you think it is. This whole fight isn't what I think it is. Nothing here is real, I think. But I loved it. Captain Usopp at the very end was badass. That's a great panel, great art. So my final thoughts are, I predict Dylan and V will not be on board, but maybe, and it seems like you guys actually may enjoy this. You guys might be on board with this fight. I know Dylan's not crazy about the gun, but...
I think it's so ridiculous that it works. Because I feel like it doesn't... From the get-go, it chooses to not take itself seriously because... She, Miss Merry Christmas outright says it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like when putting it in that context where it's not taking itself seriously and it's fully leaning into the fact that it is fucking ridiculous, I'm like, wait, I can actually enjoy it as it is meant to be enjoyed, which is to be a little bit, and the interactions we've had so far with Crocodile and Luffy have been pretty heavy. With Vivi meeting up with Koza have been pretty tense, and now it's like a little bit of that more lighthearted comic encounter, and I kind of like that. I feel like it has its place. I wouldn't want the whole manga to be like that, but in that moment, in that
at that
context,
point we're in JoJo's.
It works.
I've never watched or seen JoJo's, but it feels like that.
I've watched the first 3 or 4 seasons of JoJo's.
The outro song?
Is that
Roundabout?
a fair assessment? Is JoJo's this ridiculous?
It's very flamboyant.
Yeah. I would say it's like a leveling.
It's good. I still like it.
It's like leveling on Garish, where it's like so flamboyant, it's almost kind of tacky, but it toes the line really well.
But it still kind of works. Yeah.
Dylan, did you like this fight so far? And
the fight's interesting. The fact that Usopp's being like, oh, like, yeah, you made tunnels. Guess what? I can go through a fucking tunnel. It's like, okay, cool. That makes sense. My issue is just the moral implications of giving an inanimate object sentience. It's just like, that is so fucked. Like, for example, if I were to like, okay, now this is a living, breathing entity.
He's waving a firearm on camera.
I am not waving.
Wait,
I'm not waving.
It is cleared. Firearm?
It is cleared. It is unloaded. Gun safety is very important.
He's pointing it at me.
No, I am not. He is a liar.
He says to say that Dylan is the best, number 1.
Okay, I do like that, but I am not pointing the gun out. But no, it's like the moral implications of giving an inanimate object sentience. It's like, that's dicey.
Right.
I could.
All right. Personally, I loved this.
It is fun.
I like the premise.
I do agree with it's meant to like give a little bit of goofy air to it because it's been super serious.
Yeah, absolutely it has. I like the premise, even if the actual opponents are kind of ugly and kind of lame, and according to Dylan, apparently freaks of nature.
I think the word we picked was abomination.
Abomination, thank you.
I stand by that.
Mr. Four and Miss Merry Christmas are not cute or fun or whimsical.
I definitely think if that dog could speak, it would say, please kill me.
But yeah, I mean, I love the baseball bombs. I like the mole holes. And then I love Usopp being a part of this. This is the kind of situation which Usopp needs to be in to shine.
I think I love the fact of like Mr. Four is like a cleanup hitter is a fun look into the culture. Because from what I understand, Japan fucking loves baseball.
Yeah.
And it's the thing, it's like in America, it's like baseball is America's pastime. Most Americans are like, man, fuck baseball. That shit's kind of boring.
Well, there's like 100 games a year. We don't have time for that.
Yeah,
we're too busy paying for our medical bills.
I feel like there's also a little bit of like a parallel to be drawn between Usopp being the like sharpshooter, what's the word I'm looking for? A slingshot guy versus baseball. Like it kind of makes sense in terms of matchup.
It makes too much sense for how nonsensical it is.
Right? I'm glad I'm not the only one that kind of sees it.
But yeah, I loved Usopp's role in all this, and Chopper there to help him was great too. But I feel like Usopp kind of steals the show for different reasons.
I feel like Chopper started it, and then Usopp was like, I got this. Because I feel like without Chopper's initial kind of getting into it and being courageous and brave, as I kind of pointed out, I don't know that Usopp would have had the balls to then come in and step in, but when he does, he kind of takes control of that situation, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I had. V, 185 is you.
185. Oh, sorry, we're back. We're back to the intro intro image story. It seems like Hachi is also a meat guy.
Do you not want to hang out with this panda shark and just eat meat in his fucking cool ass den?
Stop it. I kind of do. Stop.
He's also got the babe of a mermaid on his counter. This dude's a bro. Like, I want to hang out under the sea.
Like, I don't know. I may be warming up to him, but, you know.
You're not going to date him. You're not going to bang him, but it's just a homie to hang out with.
He could be a bro. He could be a bro. He could be a bro. Also, I have to say, I don't understand the science of a fridge working underwater, but I'll just ignore that for now.
Do you understand the science of a gun eating a devil fruit and shooting baseballs?
Also, no. Half page at the bottom of page 3. So, you know, the whole whack-a-mole. So this is just an real life and extremely dangerous game of whack-a-mole. That's what it comes down to. I did want to ask you guys personally, how are you guys at that game? Like, I'm not bad at whack-a-mole.
It's been years and years
but
since I've played, but I imagine I would kill it.
It's like I have good aim, and at first I'm really on it, but as it gets faster, I just get anxious. And I wanted to know what you guys' thoughts were on whack-a-mole.
That's why you play, I don't know, Power Washer Simulator and shit like that. No, you do play some intense games.
I do. I play horror games a lot, but like Sometimes my brain needs, Power Wash, any simulation game, cooking simulator. Anyway, twitch.tv/Veronica Rose with zeros instead of O's. That was it. That was my plug. You don't have to keep this in.
It's staying in.
Every Thursday.
I'm just so scared of someone popping in and be like, da, spoiler.
It'll be fine. I have mods. All of page 5 to me was very comical. Usopp trying to spin a tail, but then reeling himself back in, but still being kind of impressive. Like, even if he doesn't have 8,000 people working for him, he's still wielding a 5-ton hammer, which, if it were true, would be impressive in its own right. And this kind of highlights the depth of shit that someone can get themselves into when they start lying a lot. When you build a lie upon a lie and upon a lie, yeah. Usopp is that guy in the group of friends where you're like, okay, sure, buddy. And then, my notes right after that say, I was bamboozled. Over page 7, it's explained that the 5-ton hammer was fake and was a tactic to scare Usopp's enemy. Which, in and of itself, isn't a bad strategy. If you think about it in, like, D&D terms, it could be...
Yeah.
Yeah, if your deception's up there.
Yeah, it's deceptive.
Intimidation and deception. It's
a valid way to tackle a hurdle that you might be facing. You know, like, so I kind of commend Usopp for that, because I feel like in one way he knows that he's not the strongest. He's not the most, like, strategic and whatnot, but he finds a way to participate and be useful. And if that's his niche, then that's his niche, and I can appreciate that. I enjoyed the top half of page 7 where Usopp low-key self-roasts by saying, I can't even do 10 pounds, and then breaking down
That's crazy.
And then he breaks down the structure of the hammer and reveals that it just weighs 4.4 pounds. It was both a self-roast and also a damn, that guy actually thought about it. Like, I don't know. It's funny.
He does what he can.
Yeah. I don't know how heavy of a mallet I could wield, but it would be more than 4.4 pounds.
Yeah, I could wield a sledgehammer. So 4.5 pounds is like a framing hammer, maybe.
Anyway, a lot of the following pages are mostly showing us the fight, which I don't have a whole lot to say about in terms of anything detailed. Around pages 12 and 13, I was thinking back to my impressions about the matchups that were initially presented to us, in which I felt were unfair. But this matchup, I think, actually is right on the nose and is pretty accurate in terms of skill and strength. Having Usopp and Chopper versus Mr. Ford and Miss Merry Christmas, I think, makes sense in terms of strength and ability and just their overall combat level. It seems to be a fairly square or fairly fair match. The bottom corner panel of page 15, when you see Usopp, his absolutely shocked face. Yeah, very bottom of page 15.
Well, he's in the midst of talking hot shit.
It's so good, that specific panel. Like, I love the high contrast style.
It's great.
It's really good. Like, just the way that it's shadowed in with his hand there and just his hair. I don't know, just it's a really, really good shot. It's tiny, but it's really, really well drawn. And then again, we have some more of a display of Chopper's big brain strategy going on. I like his strategy at page 19, making Lasso sneeze a ball into the series of tunnels to strike Miss Merry Christmas. As far as I'm concerned, that's a pretty big brain move.
That is a great Chopper moment.
Yeah. You know, if nothing before that solidified him as a member of the Straw Hats, I feel like his participation in that encounter and that fight would do that. He's proven to be useful. He's proven to be a valuable ally and a valuable asset to the Straw Hats. in this encounter, and he's only just starting off. Like, this is his first, like, quote unquote real battle. But I feel like he's done pretty well for himself, honestly.
The fact that he can tee off of people's weaknesses is honestly a little overpowered.
Yeah.
But, like, that's why I like him and Usopp as a matchup, because it's like, Usopp can't really do shit, but if you can tell him what the weakness is, he can capitalize.
They work well together, for sure. And then, the chapter ends on a great 2-page spread over pages 18 and 19 of the ball exploding in the tunnel. Chopper stating that all the tunnels are connected, and Usopp, he's looking rough, he's injured, saying, "Oh, is that so?" Kind of, I don't know, like, he's also kind of over it.
Yeah.
He's also exhausted.
Me.
Right? And that's what I had for 185.
Oh, yeah. Again, like I said before, I like the cover. Cool as Panda Shark being like, "Hey, homie, I got, first and foremost, a devil fruit in my fucking freezer."
Perhaps?
Watch me ending up being the biggest Hachi fan. By the end of this intro image story, I'm going to be the biggest Hachi stan.
But, like, Hachi's also giving the vibes. It's like, "Hey, dude, help yourself to anything in the fridge." And he's, like, taking the meat. And it's like, I mean, I shouldn't, but thank you. Hachi's a homie. But then I like Usopp spinning his yarn and fucking Chopper and Usopp, like, almost on the level of, like, Luffy and Zolo, like, instant homie.
Yeah.
Chopper and Usopp are getting those things because, like, Chopper believes everything he says. And, like, Usopp's like, "Oh, my God. Dude, if you were in my village, it would have been so rad. Like, it would have been so cool to have you with us."
He would have been one of those kids.
Oh, for sure. It's like, but you're actually, well, I can't even say the kids weren't capable. They fucking beat the shit out of fucking Django. It's like, I love the fact, because it seems like with Chopper and Usopp, it seems like Usopp's been looking for somebody who, like, desperately looking for someone who thinks he's as cool as he thinks he is. Yeah. And Chopper's definitely that fucking guy. And he's like, yeah! And I've, like, experienced something like that, where it's like, there's been a person in my life, like, interacted a couple times, and, like, they were all like, "Dude, you're the fucking, hell yeah, dude, you're the best, you're so cool. And it's like, you know what? I am pretty rad, aren't I?
Wait a minute, I do rock.
Yes, but no. This guy was, like, honestly, to the point where I was like, "This is getting a little weird. I feel like this might be getting a little weird." This is the type of guy who likes to hide knives in his belt buckle. I think I should be a little concerned.
Whoop.
But no, actually, super solid guy. And then Molbitch turns and gets like, "Wait a minute. He doesn't even have a bump on his head at all." And then the top of fucking 7 was like, "Paper mache? What the fuck? It was a fake?" Chopper, man, never meet your heroes, dude.
But it was enough to cause a little bit of a distraction, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I feel like that maybe was the goal.
It did work. I mean, unfortunately, Zolo or Sanji weren't here. Because if they were, they would have been like, "Yeah, he's full of shit. I'm going to capitalize." Because if Luffy was here, Luffy probably would have also been like, "Whoa." And, like, the Usopp turning back and screaming, "Of course it was. You think I can lift 5 tons? I can't even do 10 pounds. It's, God damn it. Usopp, you didn't have...
Such a little bitch.
You could have been like, "All right, yeah,
you, Usopp,
it's fake.
kind of, but
That's
you
cool.
are a little bitch."
But you didn't have to mention how weak you actually were."
Breaking it down for us, 4.4 pounds, unnecessary, honestly.
But, like, seeing that... Because I don't think he actually breaks it down. I think that's more Oda just giving us the information.
Yeah, it definitely is. But, I mean...
But I like that, because, like we said, like, I think, in the Discord, Schmiedhammer brought up, "What do you want to see most?" And I was, of course, Quartermaster, kind of like Don Krieg-esque level shit, as expected. And then V, you were like, Artificer, like, coming up with cool-ass gadgets. Like, that, to me, is definitely that coded. The fact that it's like, oh, it's set up this way, it's only like this many pounds, it's collapsible. If someone's going to have a utility belt out of the straw hats, it's Usopp, for sure. Usopp's like the lame version of Batman for this crew. We see Molbitch gets really pissed off about it, starts going after Usopp super hard. And I'll give Usopp his credit. The dude can take a hit. It's like, you might be weak as shit, you might not deal any damage, but you're definitely a bit of a tank. You can take damage really well.
Yeah. Constitution out the ass.
Yeah. His Constitution was his go-to stat. His dump stat, everything else.
Can I put 22 in con? Yeah, it won't really help you.
I'm going to put 22 in con. That doesn't make sense. I'm going to put 8 in everything else. Alright, fuck it. I'll allow it. At this point, Chopper's like, "Alright, fuck it. I got to get serious." And he just says rumble. and then Chomp. So my assumption is he eats the Rumble Ball.
Yes.
And he's like, all right, I'm going overdrive. He does the brain boost. He's like, all right, come on, figure it out. It does the scope, which again, I love that ability. That ability is really good. Usopp just be like, haha, you ran to the rubble. It's so hilarious. And it's just like, nah, that's not the case. I'm going to run your ass into some rubble. Because you got to think, how deep under the sand do those walls go? Probably not that deep. And then Chopper, all the crying, definitely bullshit, but in combat, his abilities are actually super solid. Like, I definitely like the scope. Finding out the weaknesses is super, super good. And the fact that he shoves the dog gun's mouth under the ground.
Yeah, he has gusto.
Yeah. And the fact that, like, even before he did that, he throws a shit ton of sand in its nose. It's like, oh, you already have a cold. I'm going to make it sneeze. Big 2-page spread of, like, the kaboom. You see the silhouettes in flame of Mr. Four and Miss Christmas. Great. That's a great 2-page spread. That's another great panel. And then Chopper at the bottom. The weakness of Moletown is that all the tunnels are connected. And fucking, of course, you got Usopp. Oh, is that so? And he's, like, fucking knocked out. Great. Love it. Man, not a lot to say. Big fight chapter, but I like the way it played out. It really showed, like, Usopp's, like, I want to say conniving. That feels like the wrong word, but, like, how deceptive he can be. Little cloak and dagger kind of esque shit, but
yeah, he's a sneaky boy.
It really shows Chopper's tactfulness, and like Chopper, the more I see him, it's like he's more like a very, very tactical fighter, which I like. That's good to see. But that's all I have.
If we were okay, I have a question. If we were talking in terms of like D&D terms, what are like where would Usopp have his character points put in terms of his like stats?
Deception. He would dump.
I think she's talking about base stats.
Base stats?
Yeah, but base stats.
Charisma, but
Usopp,
I don't know why he's
really?
failing all the time. He's trying. Okay, maybe he's rolling on charisma when he shouldn't be.
Based on all of his like gadget shit that he does, I think intelligence.
Intelligence.
Yes.
Intelligence and constitution, because like
intelligence, constitution. He has a couple points in charisma, but has proficiency in deception.
With what stealth is a
dexterity.
Dex. He's very dexterous. I would say dexterity for Usopp.
And the fact that he uses a slingshot, a ranged weapon, yeah, dexterity is probably up there.
Yeah.
But Canis is number one. He is tough.
I think so, yeah. The fact that he can take a hit.
Con and dex. Yeah. Just thinking about that.
It's fun. It's a fun thought experiment. I won't beleaguer it too much. So, I enjoyed this a whole lot. I really liked Chopper kind of like cheering on Usopp. It was very wholesome the way that Chopper supports Usopp. But Usopp's plan falls apart real quick. That being said, I feel like the whole thing was very in character. And it kind of subverted expectations, but like you're thinking just because the story being a manga here that what he says he's doing is going to work, but then suddenly it doesn't, which is it's very in character. It subverts and doesn't subvert expectations. I don't know how to kind of reconcile those two things. I loved it. The fact that it made me like think about him in a little deeper way is fun.
No, I get it.
There's two panels on pages 14 and 15 that I loved. Bottom right and bottom left. Bottom right of 14, bottom left of 15. I really like that little Chopper panel where it's so action-packed.
Yeah.
He's just a little guy and he's ready to fight. And then, of course, that Usopp panel is delicious. Love it.
It's great, yeah.
And then
the high contrast one, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And then let's go Chopper. It was a great plan. He thought this out, and I love it. I love his idea here. It's so good. It makes so much sense, and it was a great 2-page spread to end it. I really like Chopper's face in the big one and the little one at the bottom right of 19.
Yeah.
So overall, I don't have much to say that I haven't already said in the previous chapter. I enjoy this quite a bit, and this was good. I really like the ending. So.
It's been really good getting to know Chopper in that way.
Yeah, I think that's important.
For sure.
186 is Dylan.
Take us home, Dylan.
Sure. All right.
Country roads.
Cool 2-page spread.
Good Usopp.
Hell yeah.
Usopp with the rocket launcher, kind of badass, not gonna lie. Like that a lot. V, I know you're very happy.
Yes.
What do you mean?
What do you mean I'm happy?
What do I mean?
Zoro was shirtless? I wish he was shortless. No.
All right, stop.
It's fine.
But then it opens up. I love the Usopp's like laying on the ground, beaten, battered. It's like, stay down, please. God, please let the fight be over. And then Miss Christmas kind of in the middle of 5, kind of talking some hot shit on him. How fitting that a feeble captain like yours would have a cowardly crew. She fucked up. She fucked up with that. Because that's one of the few things.
She did.
One of the few things.
You don't insult Luffy.
Yeah, and Usopp's like, wait a minute, a feeble cat? You're calling Luffy feeble?
You dumb bitch.
You talking about my guy? My guy? Are you sure you're talking about my guy?
The Luffy?
Our boss, Mr. Zero Finisher, Luffy.
You dumb fucking bitch.
And Usopp's like, oh, fuck you, you lying-ass hag. You're full of shit. And that's another, like, we've talked about it a couple times where it's like, Luffy has his goal, but he pushes the goals of the rest of his crewmates so much that they're 100% on board with, it's like, through you, I'm going to accomplish my goals. Like, fuck yeah, let's go. And of course, she laughs at him like King of the Pirates, haha, as if. And then you get fucking clenched fist. And then Usopp decided to be a bit of a badass here. Top of 8. Listen, Chopper, there comes a time. And then she's like, oh, for time for you to die, long nose, small town highway. But then follows up, when a man, even if he's up against an enemy he's scared to death of, even, and then again, this kind of dialogue, even if there's no chance of winning. And this is all like a good lead up to, I think the way I'm looking at Usopp's kind of like, I'm cooked, I'm gonna get beat in this fight. Not necessarily like, I'm gonna die, but like, I'm gonna get knocked out. But he's like lighting the fire under Chopper. It's like, let me get you amped up. And then she's using the Mole Town thing to give him a bunch of momentum going into Mr. Four's fucking 4-ton bat. And then top of it, 10, you get to see the cleanup hitter. Just Usopp getting absolutely fucking, oh god. You even get the Mortal Kombat, like fucking, something like nose crumpled, head cracked.
Amazing tiny panel.
Yeah. Again, Oda likes to put
bottom of page 10?
Yeah. Oda likes to put a lot of information in a really small space.
It's giving fatality.
Yeah, very, very Mortal Kombat.
Fatality.
Like that.
Yeah.
And fucking Usopp, again, Khan was definitely what he put everything into. There comes a time when a man's gotta fight, and that's when somebody makes fun of their friend's dream. It's the one thing I won't let you laugh at. Really hard lines from Usopp. Usopp, most of the time, is like, he's full of shit, but like, this is one of those moments, it's like, you're not all bad. You're not great, but you're not all bad.
He has his moments, for sure. I feel like I'm kind of expecting Usopp to be a late bloomer.
Yeah, very much so.
I feel like he's going to reach that point where he does step up the same way that Zoro and Sanji have, but it might take him a little while.
He's got to realize his true strength. He's getting there.
He is.
But I like that because it does exactly what I said. Chopper's got fired up. And he's like, I won't let you do it. I'll show you my extra special transformation horn boost. Middle of 13. Ooh. Well, then Usopp, man, he's still got his head in the game. They're like, no matter how mad you'll get, you'll never stop us. It's like, Chopper, get behind me. And Chopper with the aye. Hell yeah. He's definitely bought into the captain idea for Usopp. And then right before the impact happens, a smoke star. And then, oh god, she's all yours, Chopper. And the fact that he just slipped out of his shoes to jump out of the way, and fucking Chopper comes in and scoops that dumb bitch up. And then Usopp calling out Mole Town cleanup hitter. And Mr. Four just to the face. Absolutely. And I love the fact that he kind of like, it looks like he's pinching his nose to seem more nasally, which probably translated a little bit in the animated. But, and then again, I get another moment of like, of like Sanji interrupting a monologue with his fucking foot. Same thing with Miss Christmas with a bat to her face. And this motherfucker hauls off on her. And just his face on the next page was, oh, what? And then I also love the idea of like, after that, it's like, hey, look over here. And it's Usopp using Chopper's horns as a slingshot and shooting his, air quotes, 5-ton hammer right at him. And that shit hurts. Shit sends him flying. Top of 19, the dog gun is just like, achoo. And it's knocked out for some reason. It's like, I sneezed one too many sneezes.
So, if you look at the bottom of 18, the dog is actually behind Mr. Four.
Oh, shit, yeah, I see that one. It's like, he's flying back, and it's like, bow?
Yeah.
Wow.
What most dogs say before they get hit by a car. Anyways.
Oh, no. Wow.
What the hell?
We're going to cut that out. That's gonna be
Dylan. Are you okay? Do you want to talk?
No, maybe. But the end of this not even just chapter volume. Usopp and Chopper win the Battle of Alubarna's southeast gate. And then, Usopp, get a grip, don't die, someone call a doctor. God damn it, you're a doctor.
You're literally the healer, Chopper. This is why you're on this fucking ship.
I like instead of an SBS, like the layout of the layout of Alubarna and who's squaring off where.
Yep. I like that. Yeah, I like that too.
That's all I got.
Alrighty.
Oh, I can't wait for Sanjay to go off.
What a way to end this freaking volume. Yeah. While I did like the intro image story going on with Hachi, I am kind of happy to going back to a little bit more of a broad view of the Straw Hats, and it has nothing to do with the fact that Zoro is currently shortless again. I mean to say shirtless, but I keep saying shortless. It's fine. You can keep
You mean to say what you say.
Partially unclothed. Anyway, I appreciate it. I have to say I'm a little bit confused at Luffy's shirt. I'm not sure why 1 + 6 = 4. Someone might have to explain that to me. Just a little bit of a shout out the bottom corner of page 2. We see Panda Man. He's there. Page 4, we see that Usopp's instincts is to run away, but Chopper acts as kind of the voice of reason and makes him realize it's no use and they have to confront this head on. As easy as it would be to run away, Usopp, that is not always a viable option, especially not when, you know, a whole nation's fate is on your shoulders. It's fine. You can't just, turns out you can't just run away. But I'm finding kind of like what Dylan alluded to, that the Chopper and Usopp friendship or companionship within the Straw Hats is a good one. It's a pretty solid one. I feel like they complement each other well. I think while they are on a similar skill and seniority level, they also really complement each other. We see a good display of the Straw Hats' dedication and appreciation for their captain at page 6, as Usopp reiterates his trust in Luffy, saying that he couldn't have died and restating that he's going to become king of the pirates one day. I think it's quite heartwarming, and it's kind of like we've known from the get-go that is what Luffy wants, and Luffy has never given any of them a reason not to believe him and not to trust him. And I feel like they're like, you know what? I'm kind of buying into this. Like, I could see him becoming the king of the pirates. And I appreciate that, especially at a time like, I feel like circumstances like these when, you know, very, very, like, it's not sensitive, but like delicate situations are at hand and there's a lot on the line. I appreciate the fact that even though they realize that, they still come back to the main goal of the Marigo and the Straw Hats and Luffy. Like, they don't lose sight of that, despite everything else that might come up. Page 10. Page 10 made me squirm. The top half, when we just see the impact, I thought was very striking. And it was striking enough as it is, but then we see how it damages Usopp's skull, including the nose. At the bottom. Like, that's gotta hurt. Poor guy. He's gonna need, like, reconstructive surgery, to be honest. But he's still standing, and, you know, he's a fucking bloody mess, as we can see at the top of page 12. But it seems to me like his devotion to Luffy and the crew keeps him on his feet, despite having been absolutely beaten to a pulp. Like, you know, the top and the bottom of page 12 are very explicit in that way, where you see him bloodied up, injured, bruised, the nose all crooked. Like, Usopp is not doing good. Like, he is in a rough shape, but he is still there. And he is very adamant about defending the values and the goals of his captain, and that means a lot. And it's admirable how much he believes in him. You know, like I said, he's bleeding, some of his teeth are missing, but at the bottom of page 12, you see him stating with, like, all of his chest that he won't let them laugh at Luffy's dream. And that's kind of sweet. Chopper's horn boost at page 13 is actually menacing. Like, I know that it's still a deer with man hands wearing a hat. But I would be terrified to see something like that coming at me in the woods at night. I would see, I like, holy shit, this thing is gonna kill me, would be the first thought.
Wendigo.
Right? It is giving kind of Wendigo for sure. There's a lot of action and movement over the next couple of pages, and it kind of culminates at page 16 when we see Mr. Four batting the absolute shit out of Miss Merry Christmas's face. Great page, very dynamic.
Hey!
We said it.
Surprised it took this long.
It did, yeah. Top of page 17 made me chuckle as we see the fallout of that impact. Mr. Four's shocked face and Miss Merry Christmas's tiny little shape going in the sky a la Team Rocket with Lasso watching on. Very comical. That was great. Usopp and Chopper finish what they started. They bring down Mr. Four, and with a great page, the volume is over. Mr. Four, Miss Merry Christmas, and Lasso are down, and the very last panel just openly states that Usopp and Chopper won the Battle of Alubarna's southeast gate. I appreciated, as Dylan pointed out, I appreciated the last little lines of dialogue with Chopper telling Usopp not to die, for someone to call a doctor, and Usopp to reply, "You're the doctor."
Yeah.
While I don't mind the way that Oda does it sometimes where a volume ends on a cliffhanger, I did appreciate that in this volume we get a little bit of a sense of resolution, in that it feels like this one confrontation is done with, I presume. And then we're going to move on.
It feels final.
Right. And then again, I assume that we're going to be moving on to another matchup at one of the other gates. And I'm very much looking forward to those other matchups. But this is one of the rare instances in which the end of a volume feels like the end of something else. Like it coincides, because he does like to end on cliffhangers.
Oh, yeah.
And again, like Dylan pointed out, I also appreciate the snapshot of the upcoming matchups at the very last page. We already kind of knew, but now we established that up next are going to be Mr. 2 versus Sanji, and Miss Doublefinger and Mr. 1 versus Zoro and Nami. Which
I like that matchup.
I'm curious to see how Nami is going to step up, because so far she's most certainly been kind of the brains of the operation behind the Straw Hats, and she hasn't participated much in battle. Whereas we know that Zoro is an experienced fighter, but I feel like he is going to need some backup in confronting Mr. One and Miss Doublefinger. So that's very exciting. I'm looking forward to that. But that's what I had for 186. I have some more thoughts in general about the volume, but we will get to that.
So, great opening for such a goofy fight. I mean, Chopper's standing there so regal. Usopp battered, beaten, broken. Almost. Not quite. And then just the silhouettes in the smoke. It was so good. And then we get Usopp and his resolve after he's trying to run away. But no, he stands true. And he has this speech, which is so good. Get to one disagreement I have with him, but overall it's so good. It's goated even for who he is. I think it kind of lends to his whole persona. It's just such a great contrast between the cowardice and then him standing up for this thing he believes in. And he's doing this as he's getting beaten to a pulp. Seeing him just smash through wall after wall. I think it was just 2 walls. It might have only been 1. Either way,
he's gotten his ass beat well beforehand.
He is at the precipice of defeat, if not death. And then, if I may, that X-ray shot on 10 is wild. I was shocked by that. I forgot that happened. It's so good. It lends to every bit of pain that he's feeling, every bit of resolve that he's coming through to keep standing. And you guys said Mortal Kombat. My first thought was a video game that maybe is a little less known than Mortal Kombat, Sniper Elite.
No, I know those games.
Yeah, so that's where my head went. And he's still standing on 11. That bottom panel is so good, but it only leads to more great Usopp moments. He's standing there in the dust, in the smoke, just like clearly beaten. He's still talking that hot shit. And the next page just zooms in on him. Detailed, dark, bloody, and he's screaming his purpose. That's the one thing I won't let you laugh at. Listen, I loved it. When I say this, I'm not taking anything away from it. But if someone's just making fun of my friend's dreams, I'm going to be like, hey, you should probably stop. I'm not going to take a brick wall for them. I'm going to be like, hey, man, this person was talking shit about your dreams. You need to, if you want, I don't know, does that mean anything to you? I'm going to check with them first before I fight them for him. But again, that's just my impression on it as me. I still thought it was very inspirational. It means a lot for the character, and yeah.
I feel like to me it depends on, like, I don't know what kind of dreams they're talking about. Like, if it's something I know that the person really truly cares about and has made kind of their life mission, I would be more offended than if it's someone telling me about a maybe less serious aspiration.
I really want to work in broadcast radio. Oh yeah, man, you should pursue.
Right?
No, yeah, I feel you. But like, if what they're saying is really insulting the person, it's like, hey, drop it. But listen, I love you guys, but I probably wouldn't take being dragged through multiple brick walls to defend your dream. Again, bodily harm, I got you.
I would die in other circumstances for you guys, but maybe not that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, shut up. And then, 16 is special, I think. That's Miss Moleface getting her face beaten in. And then it just continues from there. I think that the climax of this fight, or the end of the climax, I guess, is so good. I love the way that they're being beaten. It's so clever. It's not brute force. It's Usopp and Chopper putting their strengths together. It was an awesome ending. A great plan. I thought this whole fight was hilarious. It was cool. And then the final page just echoes that same sentiment. Look at them. And then the bottom panel, of course. It can't end on a somber note. It's Usopp and Chopper. Come on.
Yeah.
You're the doctor. My final thoughts are, I loved this fight. And I felt it ended very well. Picasso. That is my thoughts on 186. And that brings our discussion of the chapters to a close. Let's go ahead and discuss our final thoughts. I will start. And then, who started? V? And then, Dylan, you'll wrap things up. So, the volume started out with a bang. Massive bang. The first couple chapters blew me away. And I really enjoyed all the rest. I like how the conflict is developing, the different ways in which it is, the way they're charged in, disguised, we got to see why their arms are wrapped up. I think it was ultimately a good idea to take Luffy out of this, to let these characters that we've grown to enjoy kind of get their moment. They get some space to breathe outside of Luffy's massive shadow. I think some of the art panels were among the best we've seen, and I'm thinking of multiple panels, even some small ones, half page and smaller.
There's some really good ones in this volume, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. They're among the best we've seen, and the final fight was fun. It was super unique. Again, Mario Party minigame just like echoes in my head. Great follow-up to what we saw in the last volume. So, yeah. V?
So to me this was very much an action volume, and it mostly drove the action forward, which is a little bit of a change of pace as compared to the last few volumes that were all about establishing the stakes, lining up the pieces for that upcoming final confrontation. And honestly, I thought we were due for this type of volume. As much as I like story building and lore building, just because of the type of person I am, I was very happy with the way that this chapter unfolded. I feel like there were some very quality moments in terms of art. There were some super campy moments in terms of like, why the fuck do we have a gun dog?
Yeah.
But it all worked. I didn't feel like anything was out of place. I didn't feel like anything, as ridiculous and nonsensical as Lasso was, I was still within the context of One Piece, I gotta get it. I gotta get it. I don't know that I could apply the same logic to any other type of story that would try to integrate an element such as a gun dog or a dog gun. But in that context, it worked, and Oda did a great job with it. And overall, I guess I would say that I'm really excited for what is going to come next. I feel like we had a lot of unresolved moments that we kind of started building up on, such as Luffy's confrontation with Crocodile, and on also Vivi meeting up with Koza. Like, I think these are all elements that are going to be hopefully resolved in the next few chapters or volumes. But this was kind of a really good way to start off the action proper, the confrontations proper between Baroque Works and the Straw Hats. And I did, like I said, when I first did my my review of chapter 186, I liked that it finished on some sort of sense of finality.
Yeah.
So, yeah, looking forward to it. That's what I had for this volume. Dylan?
Yeah, like a big takeaways for me is in a short span of panels in time, getting to see the scope of, oh shit, the rebellion happened, and seeing the clash between the royalists and the rebellion. Like that one panel of like the rebels storming the city, seeing like the basically ants swarming up the hill towards that was great. And also I like the fact that they gave Usopp and Chopper a chance to shine together. Those
three, 4 chapters.
Yeah.
And like for that, to me, it's like, all right, Usopp and Chopper should be the two. Those homies are meant to team up with each other.
Yeah. I feel like any other matchup with them would have felt like the other person might have overshadowed them.
Yeah, it's like no one else would compliment as well.
Right, but because they both of them were together, it gave Usopp a chance to shine, and it also gave Chopper a chance to shine as the newest member of the Straw Hats. Like, it just made sense.
I see the only other matchup we could bring in that would work well, I could see probably Chopper and Zolo working well together.
Because of the like the friendship that they've developed.
It's just Sanji is a little too brash and cocksure, whereas Zolo is a little more, he gets tied up in his emotions sometimes. But if Chopper to be like, hey, like I found out their weakness is the weakness, Zolo would be like, okay, capitalize. Whereas Sanji's like, no, I'm gonna kick this guy to death. But yeah,
right.
like
he's immune to kicks.
Zoro has more patience.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
but yeah, it's fun to see them work together, and I want to see, because Sanji even called out, it's like you have our sniper's goggles. I think it was like really reaffirming Usopp is the group's sniper, and just the way Chopper's like scope thing works, like those two like they can work so well, and I'm very interested to see them kind of figure out the height of their powers and use the heights of both their powers to go to even further reaches combined together. Also, Usopp, get a fucking gun. But yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, I will go ahead and I'll bring our discussion of volume 20 to a close. I want to thank you guys for another great volume, great discussion. And I want to thank our listeners for listening, of course. Definitely check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter.
We have a Discord.
And of course, Discord. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, of course, V and Dylan. As for now, bon voyage.
Bon voyage.
Ciao, Bella.